Romantic Tales. Chapter 176. Just as Wang Jitao was bragging, two guys walked in. It was normal to have guests, but one of the guys was the tracksuit guy who flirted with Chen Mengyan today. Hence Yang Ming paid attention to them. After the two boys looked around the room, they sat near Yang Ming and the others. Brother Dong, the two tables beside us are all freshmen, right? The guy who came with the tracksuit guy said. And they should be. If not, we would have seen such pretty girls before. The tracksuit guy called Brother Dong said. Brother Dong's full name was Liu Xiaodong. He was the vice president of Songjiang Industry University's Taekwondo Club. The guy who came with him was also a member of the Taekwondo Club. His name was Li Jiaxing. Both of them were perverted wolves. They didn't have a girlfriend until now. However, there were only a few pretty girls in the second and third year. Moreover, they were already taken. Moreover, the two of them couldn't afford to offend these guys. Hence, they naturally set their sights on the freshmen. Brother Dong, how about we go over and flirt with them? Li Jiaxing suggested. Sure, let's go to the two girls' table. There are three guys at the other table. Let's not provoke them. Although Liu Xiaodong was good at fighting, there were three guys at the other table. Why should he give up the easy way? Li Jiaxing had the same idea. Both of them had the same idea. Hence, they started to come up with a plan to flirt with them. Although the restaurant was messy and they spoke softly, Yang Ming didn't need to listen. He only needed to see to know what they were talking about. However, since they didn't find trouble with him, he didn't need to bother with them. As for them flirting with Zhou Jiejia, whatever. It doesn't matter. After Liu Xiaojun and Li Jiaxing plotted for a while, they obviously came to a consensus. Yang Ming didn't pay attention to them. Naturally, he wouldn't care about their actions. Liu Xiaojun and Li Jiaxing stood up and walked towards Zhou Jiejia and the other girl. Zhou Jiejia and the other girl looked at the two uninvited guests curiously. Are you two freshmen from Songjiang Industry University? Liu Xiaojun asked politely. How do you know? Zhou Jiejia didn't speak, but the girl beside her was puzzled. However, this was equivalent to answering Liu Xiaojun's question. This girl was Zhou Jiejia's high school classmate. They had a good relationship and got into Songjiang Industry University together. Her name was Wang Shui. Let me introduce myself first. I am the vice president of the Songjiang Industry University Taekwondo Club. This is Li Jiaxing. He is also a member of the Taekwondo Club. Are the two of you interested in joining our Taekwondo Club? Liu Xiaojun asked. Taekwondo Club? Wang Shui glanced at Zhou Jiejia and saw her shaking her head, so she said to Liu Xiaojun, we just entered the school. Let's talk about the club later. We're not sure if we'll be interested in other clubs in the future. It doesn't matter. You can join the Taekwondo Club first. This won't affect you joining other clubs. University clubs can overlap. Liu Xiaojun certainly didn't want to let go of these two pure and lovely sisters. So he decided to persuade them to join the club first. This way he would be in a favorable position and everything would be easier. Let's talk about it later. I'm sorry, we need to eat. Zhou Jiejia was a little impatient, so she politely asked them to leave. It doesn't matter. As seniors, this meal should be our treat. Waiter, bring our food to this table. Let's eat together. After Liu Xiaojun finished speaking, he casually sat next to Zhou Jiejia, and Li Jiaxing also sat next to another girl. Although this girl wasn't as pure and beautiful as Zhou Jiejia, she was still acceptable. In front of the vice president, Li Jiaxing could only settle for the second best. However, it was good enough that he could have his share. Li Jiaxing was already satisfied. He just didn't know if he could get her. Zhou Jiejia saw the two of them sitting over so shamelessly. She frowned. We have our own money. We don't need your treat. Just treat it as a gesture from a senior. We will be classmates in the same university. Let's be friends for the first time and be friends for the second time. Let's be friends for the third time and be friends for the fourth time. Li Jiaxing said. What meat? Wang Shui obviously didn't understand. Meat? What meat? Liu Xiaojun glared at Li Jiaxing and said to Wang Shui. He said their dialect. It means that we are friends for the third time and be friends for the third time and be friends for the fourth time. Li Jiaxing also realized that he said something wrong. He smiled awkwardly and said, yes. Friends. Zhou Jiejia and Wang Shui were girls. It was normal that they didn't hear this. However, Wang Jitao had been paying attention to the movement over there since these two guys started to talk to Zhou Jiejia. How could he not understand Li Jiaxing's meaning? How could Wang Jitao not know what these two guys were thinking? They just wanted to strike up a conversation with a girl. It was fine if it was other girls, but Zhou Jiajia was his target. Qin Mingyan was a rose with thorns. It was fine if Yang Ming took advantage of it, but he couldn't let go of Zhou Jiajia. So, Wang Jitao was furious when he saw that these two guys were getting more and more disgusting. You two, what do you mean? Wang Jitao stood up and turned to Lu Zhaojun and Li Jiaxing and said arrogantly, "What do you mean? Who are you?" Lu Zhaojun saw that someone ruined his good thing and asked with some dissatisfaction, "Let me tell you. You two better not cause trouble here," Wang Jitao said as he paid attention to Zhou Jiajia's expression. Seeing that her expression didn't change, Wang Jitao was anxious, so he said arrogantly, "Do you know who I am? Fuck, are you stupid? My first sentence was to ask who you are. You fucking asked me if I know who you are. Did your brain get kicked by a donkey?" Lu Zhaojun saw that this freshman dared to be a thorn in his side, so he was unhappy. "Damn, you don't fucking know what's going on, right?" Yes, no matter how good the university was, there would always be some students who were prickly. These students paid sponsorship fees and were specially recruited for sports. Lu Zhaojun was a sports special student in Songjiang Industry University. Lu Zhaojun belonged to the prickly type of student, but he was also a freshman. Yes, when he was in his first year of university, the second and third year students were always riding on his head. Other than calling him for fights, all other good things had nothing to do with him. The younger sisters of the second and third year students were also taken by these guys. Lu Zhaojun didn't get any of them. Now Lu Zhaojun's wife finally became a woman. He went from a first-year student to a second-year student. Finally, he could flirt with the younger sisters of the first year and bully the freshmen. Just as he was feeling good about himself, someone dared to prick in front of him? Wouldn't that be rebelling against him? "What are you saying? Let me tell you. My dad is the chairman of Xiongfeng Group. Nothing will happen to you if you leave now. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences." Wang Jitao was also anxious. He was acting like a hero saving the beauty, but these two guys in front of him didn't play along. Xiongfeng Group? What's that? Lu Zhaojun wasn't from this city, so he naturally didn't hear of Xiongfeng Group. "It's a small private company in Songjiang," Li Jiaxing said with disdain. His father was a senior executive in a state-owned enterprise, so he looked down on those private companies. "Oh. Fuck, so you are the son of a nouveau riche." Lu Zhaojun laughed. "You." Wang Jitao was used to being pampered. When did he ever get looked down on like this? Even Yang Ming didn't look down on him like this. In front of a beauty, people tend to be impulsive. Wang Jitao was furious. He picked up a beer bottle and smashed it on Lu Zhaojun's head. As the vice president of the Taekwondo club, Lu Zhaojun's reputation wasn't just for show. His reflexes were much better than the average person. When he saw Wang Jitao's beer bottle, he dodged it easily. He aimed at Wang Jitao's stomach and kicked him. Luckily, Wang Jitao only talked and didn't eat anything. Otherwise, he would have vomited everything in his stomach. Wang Jitao was mad. He took out his phone and dialed Zhang Biao's number. "Hello, Zhang Biao. I am at the Tianbelong restaurant in front of Songjiang Industry University. I was beaten up. Call some people over." Chapter 177. Yang Ming couldn't wait to see Wang Jitao get beaten up, so he kept saying in his heart, "Beat harder." Now, seeing that Zhou Jiajia was trying to mediate, Yang Ming couldn't sit back and watch. After all, Wang Jitao was still his brother, and Yang Ming didn't want to fall out with him immediately. He had to stand up helplessly and said lazily, "You two, that's enough. I still want to eat. Don't fight here." "Ha, another one who isn't afraid of death. Who are you? Don't tell me that your father is also the chairman of some group?" Lu Zhaojun didn't expect that there were so many students in this class. But it was a good opportunity for him to practice. He was worried that he wouldn't have a chance to show his power. "My father is just an ordinary worker," Yang Ming said faintly. "It's fine if you leave now. After a while, when I'm in a bad mood, you'll be useless." Although Yang Ming's words were similar to what Wang Jitao said just now, this calm tone was more imposing than the angry tone. "What?" Lu Zhaojun was stunned. "This kid dared to show off in front of me without any background? Could it be that he's a tiger? Are you sick?" "I'm not sick, but I guess you'll have to go to the hospital soon." After Yang Ming finished the sentence, he picked up a stool and threw it over. He knew that the other party was from the Taekwondo club. In terms of fighting, he might not be his opponent, but fighting was about skills. It had nothing to do with real ability. Years of actual combat experience told Yang Ming that no matter how strong the opponent was, as long as you made the first move, then the opponent's strength would be weakened a lot. Of course, this was an exception for martial arts masters, but such people didn't exist in reality. Yang Ming's moves were different from Wang Jitao's. Yang Ming was a fighting master. He knew how to defeat the enemy in one move and how to maximize the pain to the opponent. So his moves were ruthless, accurate, and steady. Lu Xiaojun was a taekwondo master, but he wasn't an actual combat master. It was easy to deal with someone like Wang Jitao who didn't have much fighting experience. But when facing someone like Yang Ming, before he could react, he was hit to the ground and his head was bleeding. Li Jiaxing often participated in fights, but Songjiang Industry University was a famous university. The students would at most be beaten black and blue. No one would hit someone's head with a wooden bench. This was the fighting style of a street gangster. Wasn't this the same as beating someone to death? Li Jiaxing was scared silly, but Yang Ming reminded him faintly, "Aren't you going to send him to the doctor?" Only then did Li Jiaxing react. He helped Lu Xiaojun up and walked to the door. When he walked to the door, he turned back and pointed at Yang Ming to warn, "You wait. Idiot." Yang Ming rolled his eyes and didn't take it to heart. Yang Ming had seen too many of these words of courtesy before leaving after being beaten up. Zhou Jiejia looked at Yang Ming's move, and her eyes were filled with a complicated look. Yang Ming didn't pay attention to Zhou Jiejia. He helped Wang Jitao up and said pretentiously, "Class monitor Wang, are you okay?" "Okay. Thank you, Yang Ming, for chasing them away." Wang Jitao felt that it was a good thing to have a violent friend around him. "I didn't think that there would be such a bad person in our university. He actually beat someone up." Yang Ming was talking about Lu Xiaojun on the surface, but he was mocking Wang Jitao for beating him up first. "Sorry, I was a little late." "That doesn't matter. Damn, I finally vented my anger. I'm so pissed." Wang Jitao scolded. At this moment, Wang Jitao didn't care about Yang Ming stealing his limelight. He was thinking about how to find trouble with Lu Xiaojun. However, in this way he transferred the spearhead to Lu Xiaojun, leaving enough time for Yang Ming to grow. Yang Ming had to thank those two guys. "Are you two okay?" He couldn't take Wang Jitao's beating for nothing. At least he had to let Zhou Jiejia understand that he was injured because of her. "I'm fine. Thank you." Since they were injured, Zhou Jiejia couldn't be too cold, so she had to thank him perfunctorily. "Thank you, but your nose. Is it okay?" Wang Shui was very enthusiastic. "I'm fine. It's not a big deal. This injury is nothing." Wang Jitao casually plugged his nose with tissue paper so that it would stop bleeding. "Your online name is Charming Baby, right?" Wang Jitao suddenly pretended to be enlightened. "Here you are." Zhou Jiejia also pretended not to remember. "I'm Prince Dateo," Wang Jitao said with joy. However, he didn't look like a prince now. "Oh, it turned out to be you." "Hee." Zhou Jiejia smiled and recognized Wang Jitao. "Hee, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you here." Wang Jitao smiled. "Yeah." Zhou Jiejia hesitated and said, "Why? Aren't you going to introduce me to these friends around you?" Wang Jitao naturally didn't know that Zhou Jiejia and Yang Ming were old acquaintances. Seeing that she took the initiative to talk to him, he quickly said enthusiastically, "These two are my high school classmates. Now they are good buddies. The one who attacked just now was Yang Ming. This guy is a rough guy." He didn't scare you, right?" "Rough person? You're the rough person." Zhou Jiejia frowned, but she smiled and nodded to Yang Ming. "Hello, my name is Zhou Jiejia. Thank you for teaching those two guys a lesson." "You're also called Yang Ming? Your name is the same as one of my junior high school classmates." "Is that so?" Yang Ming glanced at this little flirtatious woman. He didn't understand what she wanted to do, but he didn't want to hit a smiling face. Although Yang Ming didn't have a good impression of her, he still nodded and said, "That's a coincidence. I used to have an enemy. She is also called Zhou Jiejia." That's a bit of a coincidence." Zhou Jiejia smiled. There are many people with the same name in this world. Seems that we all have a lot of fate." Wang Jitao didn't see the smell of gunpowder in the tone of the two people. He thought it was really a coincidence. "In this case, today's meal is on me. How about we eat together?" Zhou Jiejia didn't want to eat with Wang Jitao, but she glanced at Yang Ming again. She was a little hesitant in her heart. She hesitated and said, "Okay, you guys eat. Zhang Bin and I have already eaten. We will go first." Yang Ming didn't want to eat with Zhou Jiejia. And they did eat. Just now, only Wang Jitao was bragging and didn't eat anything. To be honest, Wang Jitao was really unwilling to let Yang Ming and the others stay here. Since they took the initiative to leave, Wang Jitao had no reason to keep them. So he said, "That's fine. I will deal with it directly in a while. You guys go first." Zhang Bin also came with his girlfriend. Naturally, he wasn't interested in getting to know other beauties. So when Yang Ming suggested it, the four people got up and left. After Yang Ming and the others left, Wang Jitao just wanted to sit with Zhou Jiejia and the others, but he heard Zhou Jiejia say, "Wang Jitao, since you all have eaten, then let's call it a day. Let's meet again another day. Who knows? Let's go to the school doctor's office first." Yang Ming had left. Zhou Jiejia didn't want to stay with Wang Jitao anymore, so she tactfully asked him to leave. But Wang Jitao didn't expect things to turn out like this. But he felt that the beauty still cared about him, so he wasn't that disappointed. So he said, "Okay, let's call it a day. Let's talk on QQ another day." Wang Jitao didn't eat a single bite, but he had to pay for 2 tables of bills. But he was willing to do so. So there was a saying, if you aren't an idiot, how would you know the joy of being an idiot? After leaving the restaurant, they saw a small stall selling Chinese crepes. The smell made Wang Jitao drool. So he took out 2 yuan and bought a Chinese crepe. He ate it while walking. A man with a face full of blood and a paper stuffed in his nose was eating Chinese crepes at the entrance of Songjiang Industry University. It was a beautiful scene. It was said that the school's security treated him as a beggar. When he was about to enter the university, he was kicked out. Luckily, Wang Jitao had the payment receipt, or else he couldn't explain it clearly. "Yang Ming, you hurt that person just now. Aren't you afraid of revenge?" Qin Mengyan said with some blame, "Today's matter, it's not your turn to stand up." "That's right, boss. It's better that Wang Jitao was beaten to death. Why do you care about him?" Zhang Bin said with confusion. Yang Ming shook his head and didn't say anything. He was conflicted, but he couldn't fall out with Wang Jitao now. "I just can't stand the arrogance of those 2 people." Yang Ming found an excuse for himself. Chapter 178. Wang Jitao had been very depressed recently. Not only did he fail the college entrance exam, but he also went camping and finally found a girl to relax, but he was scared to the point of impotence. After that, Wang Jitao went to many hospitals, big and small. He tried all kinds of ancestral secret prescriptions, old military doctors and imperial doctors, but they didn't work. The result of the examination was that they weren't seriously ill, just a psychological disorder caused by the fear. However, it was this kind of psychological suggestion that was the most difficult to cure. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many mental illnesses in this world. Physical illnesses were easy to treat, just take medicine and surgery and they could be cured. But this kind of illness without any problems, how do you want people to treat it? Therefore, most of the doctors asked Wang Jitao to see a psychiatrist. Wang Jitao was anxious, but he couldn't tell his family, so the depression in his heart could be imagined. Fortunately, university started and there were a lot of messy things, so Wang Jitao temporarily forgot about his illness. Throwing away the oil paper that wrapped the Chinese crepe, Wang Jitao scolded, "Damn, the price of goods is rising, and this thing is also out of stock. There was half a ham sausage in it, but now it's gone. If I knew, I would have bought 2. When the oil paper fell to the ground, an old man with a red armband ran quickly to Wang Jitao. "Student, you are throwing trash everywhere on campus. A fine of 50 yuan. Wang Jitao was stunned. "This is a fine." "Nonsense, if you don't get fined, will you remember next time?" The old man rolled his eyes and said, "Hurry up, let me tell you, if you have a bad attitude, you can report it to the whole school." When Wang Jitao heard the report to the whole school, he immediately took out 50 yuan and gave it to the old man. He still had to pick up girls. If this matter was reported, his reputation would be ruined. However, Wang Jitao didn't understand. There was no one near him just now, and this old man was at least 100 meters away. How did he run over so quickly? It was like he was stepping on 2 flaming wheels. In fact, there was no such thing as a fine old man in school. If there was a fine, it would be the cadre in charge of school discipline in the student union. However, Wang Jitao was a new student. How would he know about this? And this old man was a swindler in this area. He specifically targeted new students and succeeded time and time again. After Wang Jitao left, the old man immediately straightened his back and his voice returned to a middle-aged man's voice. Idiot, seeing how rich you are, I should have asked for 200 from you. Yang Ming's group of 4 split up when they passed by the entrance of the female dormitory. There were still important things to do in the afternoon. The students of each major had to report to the designated places of their respective majors. Yang Ming majored in computer science. In fact, he didn't have to worry about the problem of employment now. Even if he wasn't good enough, he could earn some income through stone gambling, so his major wasn't so important. Yang Ming's parents, on the other hand, hoped that he would enroll in a more popular major. Based on the current situation, high-tech information majors were still more popular, and computing was one of them. As for Yang Ming himself, he was also more interested in computers, so he treated it as a hobby. Anyway, he had decided to rely on his ability to earn money in the future. Brother, how do I get to the Computer Science Institute? Yang Ming found a senior with glasses who seemed to be more studious and asked. Computer Science Institute? What Computer Science Institute? The senior with glasses asked. It's computer science. Yang Ming said in his heart. It can't be. Did this guy's glasses not come from hard work? But from playing games. Damn Computer Science Institute. You should have said so earlier. The senior with glasses suddenly realized. I'm from the Computer Science Institute. You're a new student, right? I'll take you there. Brothel? Yang Ming was surprised. How is this possible? Looking at the man in glasses in front of him, he was like a pimp in a brothel in ancient times. He patted his chest and said, I'm from the brothel. I'll take you there. Yeah, Computer Science Institute, abbreviated as Computer Science Institute. What Computer Science Institute? Computer Science and Automation Control have been divided into 2 departments. The senior with glasses said. So that's the case. Yang Ming nodded. But isn't this abbreviation a bit too wretched? Maybe it was because he saw Yang Ming's weird expression. The senior with glasses said disapprovingly, Why? Do you think this abbreviation is a bit ambiguous? Yang Ming nodded. Do you still need to ask? It'll be fine after a long time. Every batch is called like this. The boys in the Computer Science Institute are called male prostitutes, and the girls are called female prostitutes. Like me, I'm a male prostitute. You'll be a male prostitute in the future too. The senior with glasses said seriously. Yang Ming looked left and right. This was indeed a school. If he didn't know, he would have thought that the person in front of him was a nightclub duckhead who wanted to drag him down. Damn, I worked so hard to get into university, but in the end I became a glorious male prostitute. Hey brother, don't think too much. This name has been used for so many years. The senior with glasses said. Also, this shows that the boys in the Computer Science Institute are famous. Famous? What do you mean? Yang Ming was somewhat inexplicable. Think about it. The term Computer Science Institute isn't groundless. There's a reason why the boys in the Computer Science Institute are called male prostitutes. It shows that there are many boys in our institute and the quality is good. Those little slutty girls from the Economics Department and Foreign Languages Department come to our institute to find a partner. The senior with glasses said mysteriously. Damn. After Yang Ming listened, he thought to himself, he is really a fucking prostitute. But if you want to find a partner to marry, you should find one in our Computer Science Institute. But there are fewer girls in computer science. You have to make the first move or else you won't have a chance. The senior with glasses said. Why do I have to find someone in the Computer Science Institute? Yang Ming didn't understand. It's not that you have to find someone in the Computer Science Institute. It's just that there are too many girls in the Economics Department and Foreign Languages Department. The overall atmosphere isn't good. There are too few pure girls. Even if there are, they will be led astray by others. All of them are slutty. The senior with glasses said. Led astray? Yang Ming didn't believe that Qin Mengyan would be led astray by others. It's true that the environment can change a person, but not everyone will be changed by the environment. You don't believe me. I have done a lot of research on this. The senior with glasses said, in the past I had a partner in the Foreign Languages Department. That girl was beautiful, but what happened in the end? Didn't she still fall into the arms of a rich man? Damn, this guy is a very hurt man. No wonder he's so cynical. Yang Ming felt that this guy must be a special case. It just happened to him, so he was able to beat 100 people. Today is the registration day of the Computer Science Institute. I'm going to take this opportunity to see if there are any suitable new girls and grab one. The senior with glasses revealed his lustful nature in a few words. Another guy who is cold on the outside. Thought he was a nerd. Yang Ming shook his head. However, with such an old man telling Yang Ming about the Computer Science Institute, it saved Yang Ming a lot of trouble. He even knew who to look for if you fail an exam, which teacher was strict in class and which class didn't take attendance. My name is Zhang Weihan. If there's anything you don't understand in the future, you can look for me directly. I'm from the Student Life Department. The senior with glasses enthusiastically handed a business card to Yang Ming. It can't be. Student leaders now have business cards. Yang Ming took the business card and looked at it. Damn. It specializes in finding people who fail an exam, drawing questions before an exam, introducing short-term odd jobs and tutoring. Seeing Yang Ming's shocked expression, Zhang Weihan was a little embarrassed. To earn some extra money. My phone is on the card. If you need anything, just call me directly. Yang Ming didn't need the last two items, but the first two seemed to be useful in the future. University exams were different from high school. You couldn't get high marks just by cheating. A lot of teachers in university would divide the final exam results into two parts: the usual results and the exam results. Usually it was 3 to 7, but there were also 5 to 5. The usual results referred to the number of times you attended class. Usually one absence would deduct 5 to 10 marks until all marks were deducted. In other words, if the final exam results were 5 to 5, even if you didn't get a single question wrong, you would still fail if you missed too many classes. Yang Ming took this into consideration, so he kept the business card. He nodded to Zhang Weihan and said, "Okay, I'll call you if I need anything. The fee won't be too high, right?" "Of course not, but if you expect to fail an exam, it's best to let me know in advance. You know, the people marking the exam papers are all students. I just need to get through this layer of relationship. But after the results are out, it's not easy to do. It's all up to the teacher. So the price before and after the exam is different. If you look for me before the exam, it's usually 200 yuan, but full refund. After the exam, it depends on the situation. If it doesn't work, you have to wait until the makeup exam." Zhang Weihan explained, "You also know that the school management is very strict now. There are very few teachers who break the rules for a few hundred yuan." Chapter 179. Yang Ming nodded. He knew that Zhang Weihan was telling the truth. Especially in a famous university like Songjiang Industry University, the professors were all great. For example, if Li Weishan wanted to earn money, he could easily earn it. Who would care about such a small profit? Moreover, he was risking making a mistake. However, he didn't agree with Zhang Weihan's approach. He was obviously using money to entice those poor students who had no social experience. However, this wasn't something that Yang Ming could control. Since those students accepted Zhang Weihan's bribe, it proved that their willpower wasn't that strong. After that, Zhang Weihan told Yang Ming about the few people that he couldn't defend in Songjiang Industry University. One of them was Lu Xiaojun that he met in the afternoon. These people were basically from the Taekwondo club or karate club. Most of them were specially recruited as athletic students. They relied on their fighting skills to be a tyrant in the university. However, the university's supervision was still very strict. As long as you didn't provoke them, they wouldn't find trouble with you. Some of them were from rich families. Although they couldn't be beaten up, there were people who were willing to work for them. Therefore, these people couldn't be provoked. Zhang Weihan explained. Yang Ming wasn't afraid of those athletic students. Wasn't it just fighting? That was his strength. Yang Ming was most annoyed by the second type. People like Wang Jitao who relied on their family's power to stir up trouble. This kind of person was connected to society and they played the tricks of society. Therefore, Yang Ming secretly remembered the names of those rich and powerful people in his heart. At least before he solved Wang Jitao's problem, he shouldn't provoke them. He followed Zhang Weihan to the entrance of the computer science department. He didn't expect to meet a familiar person. Zhang Weihan's eyes almost popped out of their sockets when he saw Yang Ming. There was such a beauty in this batch of freshmen. Yang Ming, what a coincidence. Zhou Jiajia and Wang Shui walked together and greeted Yang Ming with a smile. Yang Ming frowned. Could it be that little Sunny was also from the CGI? Brothel, haha, it was really a good fit for her. Thinking of this, Yang Ming smiled and said, "Hello, Ji Nu." A prostitute? Zhou Jiajia's face changed in an instant. Even if the two of them had conflicts before, there was no need to be so mean, right? calling someone a prostitute in front of her? Wait, could it be that the person called Dabing on QQ was really him? Did he only say that after watching the video? That's not right. That person definitely can't be Yongming, right? Ha, this classmate, please don't misunderstand. Zhang Weihan glared at Yongming. How can you speak like that? He couldn't help but shake his head. This brat was still too inexperienced. He didn't know how to pick up girls. Things are like this. Our computer science department has always been called the CGI. The boys in the CGI are called G-men and the girls are called G-nu. He and I are both G-men. Zhang Weihan was worried that he didn't have a reason to talk to a beauty. Yongming's G-nu helped him. And there is such a saying. Zhou Jiejia looked at the faint smirk in Yongming's eyes and knew that she misunderstood. However, it seemed that he was still the same as before. He liked to joke with others. But why was he so good to Xia? Yeah, when you become a senior you will get used to it. Zhang Weihan patted his chest and said, "This is my business card. If you have any difficulties you can call me." Zhang Weihan didn't forget to expand his business while picking up girls. Beauty. When looking for me I can give a suitable discount or not. It depends on the beauty's performance. Zhang Weihan once helped a few beauties solve their exam problems for free, and the price they paid was to sleep with him. Of course, those women were all sluts who were ridden by thousands of people. After that, they cut off contact with Zhang Weihan. However, this kind of one-night stand made Zhang Weihan very happy. If he could develop a girlfriend it would be even more perfect. Wang Shui took the business card for Zhou Jiejia. The four people walked into the computer science department building together. What Yongming didn't expect was that Zhou Jiejia and Yongming were in the same class. Yongming was in class 08 class 2 and Zhou Jiejia was in class 08 class 1. In order to create a learning atmosphere for students, the university's classes were divided according to the order of the college entrance examination results. In other words, Zhou Jiejia's results were actually higher than Yongming's. This made Yongming somewhat surprised. I really didn't expect this little slut to be so powerful. It turned out that she was defeated by Suya and himself. She was so badass during the college entrance examination. However, Yongming was just thinking about it casually. How Zhou Jiejia was now had nothing to do with him. Let her be. Now that Yongming had matured a lot, it was impossible to find someone to beat up Zhou Jiejia in the past. Although Yongming often claimed that he punched the Nanshan nursing home, kicked the Beihai kindergarten and specialized in bullying the old, weak and disabled, it was just a saying. If Yongming really did it, Yongming wouldn't do it. The opposite classes in the university were actually the same class. For the big class, the 10 classes of the whole department would attend together. For the small class, the two opposite classes would attend together in the same classroom. Moreover, the two classes had the same tutor. Therefore, Yongming and Zhou Jiejia were in the same class, and it was an inevitable fact. Although Yongming wasn't very willing, he now thought that he didn't have the ability to influence the leader of the department, so he could only pretend that he didn't see it. Zhang Weihan came to the department to do the makeup exam for others. He went to find a familiar teacher to draw the questions, so he first said goodbye to Yongming and Zhou Jiejia and said that he would contact them often. After entering the classroom, Yongming simply found a seat at the back and sat down. He roughly observed the situation of the entire classroom. It could be said that the university campus was a place where the gap between the rich and the poor was more serious. Those students who were admitted from the mountainous areas were really poor. It could be seen from their clothes that they usually lived a poor life. Those students who lived in the city, no matter how poor they were, they would still dress beautifully. Just like Yongming, a child from a worker's family, the parents would also buy a few new clothes for the child in the new semester. Of course, these weren't things that Yongming could care about. However, Yongming observed that most of the students who were well-dressed were also well-dressed people. The poor students were also surrounded by poor students. Birds of a feather flock together, and people flock together since ancient times. After about 10 minutes, a man in his 20s with a crew cut came in and stood on the podium. "Okay, everyone be quiet." The man knocked on the podium and said. The freshman students were still more afraid of the teachers, unlike the seniors who basically didn't take the tutor seriously. The middle-aged man's style was obviously that of a teacher, so the students who were whispering under the stage closed their mouths. "My name is Xie Yongqiang." At this point, the man paused and the students below burst into laughter. Everyone don't laugh. It's the name Xie Yongqiang in the country love story. I'm the tutor of your class 1 and class 2. It wasn't known which bootlicker took the lead to clap, but Yang Ming could only clap twice perfunctorily. Xie Yongqiang made a downward gesture and said, "You don't have to welcome me. It's useless to flatter me. I'm only responsible for supervising your conduct and discipline. I don't care about your exam results." As soon as the words came out, the leading students looked very embarrassed. They didn't expect that there was a world of difference between university and high school. The teacher didn't fall for it. "Next, I will start to call the roll according to the roll call. The students who are called stand up and answer. I will simply identify them first." Xie Yongqiang said, "Then tomorrow, everyone will take a day off. From the day after tomorrow, the official military training will start for a month. After the roll call, take the payment receipt to the logistics department to receive the military training camouflage uniform." "I just transferred here. I don't want to cause trouble. I'm fine. So, goodbye. Sorry, it's a phone call from home." The four-eyed frog held his glasses. This pair of glasses was obviously new. The one during the day was broken by Lu Xiaojun. "Oh, my name is Tian Donghua. You're my roommates, right? This frog's surname is actually Tian? What a coincidence." Yang Ming smiled and said, "Tian Donghua, right? My name is Yang Ming and his name is Zhang Bin. We are both freshmen this year, students from the city. Listening to your accent, you aren't from this city, right?" "And I am from Donghai City. I transferred here." Tian Donghua said, "Nice to meet you all." After Yang Ming and Zhang Bin heard it, they couldn't help but look at each other. It was quite difficult to transfer to a university. It must go through the education department of the province, and both universities must agree at the same time. It seemed that this Tian Donghua's family had a lot of power. "I am also very happy, but we met during the day, hee hee." Yang Ming smiled. "During the day?" Tian Donghua was stunned. He carefully looked at Yang Ming for a long time, and then he suddenly said, "Ah, I know you are the boy next to the beauty." "You remembered? It seems that your eyesight is good." Yang Ming said, "Why? I heard you on the phone just now. Do you have a grudge against Lu Xiaojun?" Tian Donghua was stunned. His face changed slightly, but he immediately returned to normal and said, "We will be studying and living together for a few years. I don't want to hide it from you. I am really unhappy with that guy. Damn, how can he do things like that? He didn't distinguish who came first and he even hit people. I want to teach him a lesson, but I just came here and I don't want to cause trouble. Let's forget about it first." If you want to teach him a lesson, then your purpose has been achieved." Zhang Bin listened and laughed. "What do you mean? Could it be that this guy was taught a lesson by a big brother?" Tian Donghua was stunned at first, then he asked with great interest. "That guy was beaten up by Yang Ming at the Tianbelong restaurant near the school at noon." Zhang Bin said exaggeratedly, "He was in the hospital at that time." "Are you serious? Damn, this is so satisfying. Brother, you are so strong." Tian Donghua looked at Yang Ming in surprise. "Yes, but that guy started the trouble first. Then one of my friends tried to stop him and he beat him up. So I went to help." Yang Ming didn't want to show off, so he said helplessly, "Good fight. That's great." Tian Donghua said happily, "Let's go. I will treat you guys. Let's find a place to drink. Damn, this guy is so arrogant. Let's forget about it today. Zhang Bin and I have already eaten. Let's talk about it tomorrow." Yang Ming shook his head. "That's fine. Let's talk about it tomorrow." Tian Donghua said straightforwardly, "No problem." Yang Ming and Zhang Bin both felt that Tian Donghua was a good person. After that, the three of them chatted for a while. When Tian Donghua found out that Qin Mengyan was Yang Ming's girlfriend, he was envious, but he had to dispel other thoughts. However, the three of them met for the first time. Although they hit it off, it wasn't good to get too involved in each other's personal affairs. So the topic was basically around women. "Both of you aren't virgins anymore, right? Don't lie." Tian Donghua looked at the two of them and asked. "Hee hee, you can see that?" Zhang Bin said with a lewd smile, "I haven't been virgins for a long time, but Yang Ming wasn't that long ago." "Not long ago? Is it with that Qin Mengyan?" Tian Donghua had some doubts. "I think she is still a virgin." "You don't know about this, right? Yang Ming has more than one girlfriend." Zhang Bin said mysteriously. Yang Ming frowned. He didn't want too many people to know about this kind of private matter. However, since Zhang Bing said it, he could only go along with it and smile. "What is it? We just have a good relationship. Tian Donghua didn't care. He seemed to think that it was normal, so he didn't continue to pursue this topic. The next day the three of them agreed to go for a drink, but because Yang Ming and Zhang Bin were freshmen, they had to gather on the field at 7 o'clock the next morning, so they didn't go. They just had a quick meal nearby and went back to the dormitory to sleep. The day of military training had finally arrived. Although Yang Ming had great expectations for the military training, the content of the first day of military training made Yang Ming depressed. The first day was all freshmen sitting on the ground of the stadium and listening to the mobilization meeting of the school's sports department leader. The leader repeatedly emphasized that everyone must participate in the military training, and they couldn't be absent. The military training was considered as a subject and counted as graduation credits. A voluminous report was done in the morning. It couldn't be helped. This was the procedure of every school, and it couldn't be changed just because someone wanted to. In the afternoon he saw the instructor in his class. He was a young man who was about the same age as Yang Ming. He was dark, thin, and very sturdy. Yang Ming didn't know which army he was from because these were confidential. The instructor and Yang Ming were from the same family. His name was Yang Yong and his hometown was in Shandong. Although Yang Ming was already very sturdy, he was still a little lacking when standing in front of Yang Yong. When Yang Yong asked everyone to stand in line, some of the students in the class were obedient, some were lazy and perfunctory, and some simply pretended not to hear it. It couldn't be helped. These proud children were used to being spoiled. Naturally, they didn't put these uneducated soldiers in their eyes. Chapter 181. During the military training, each department trained in a different venue, so Yang Ming didn't know how Zhang Bin and Qin Mengyan were doing. He just felt that this kind of intense training was too ordinary. Why couldn't so many people stand it? In fact, it couldn't be said that these students who took leave were avoiding the military training. The country's education system was there. From primary school, only cultural education was focused on, ignoring other subjects such as physical education. Many students didn't even go to physical education more than a few times. This sounded very exaggerated, but it was true in some places. So, military training was reasonable, but it wasn't. At least for those students who didn't have long-term physical education, it was very unreasonable. At least they should have some physical education foundation, right? In the past few years, there were students with poor physical fitness who suddenly died during the military training, so the school and the instructor were afraid of taking responsibility. So, those students who couldn't stand it were allowed to rest. Yang Ming was one of the few students who never asked for leave. Others more or less asked for leave to rest. After a day of military training, Yang Ming didn't feel much. He felt that a fight consumed more energy than this, but Zhang Bin was so tired that he couldn't walk. Qin Mengyan and Zhao Sisi also went back to the dormitory to rest. Originally they planned to eat today, but when Tian Donghua saw Zhang Bin like a dead dog, he could only dismiss the idea. Damn, I'm so tired. I can't take it anymore. As soon as Zhang Bin returned to the dormitory, he fell on the sofa in the living room. Yang Ming didn't have anything to do. He went to the cafeteria with Tian Donghua to buy 3 meals and brought one back for Zhang Bin. The relationship between Yang Ming and Tian Donghua was neither salty nor light. They weren't close friends, but they had a good relationship. The friendship between men was mostly built on the drinking table and fighting. There was still a lack of opportunity between the two people. The topics they talked about now were nothing more than the school and beauties, but it rarely involved their own problems. After a few days of military training, Zhang Bin wasn't as tired as he was on the first day. To use a popular saying, it was training and you'd get used to it. The military training passed by in a busy manner and did not cause any disturbances. When Yang Yong left, he deliberately said to Yang Ming, "Young man, your physical fitness is not bad. It's okay. It's a pity that I couldn't learn more. I heard that the army taught a lot of fighting skills." Yang Ming said with regret, "Actually, it's nothing much. It's not bad to practice military boxing well. Didn't I give you my phone number? You can always contact me when you are free, but under normal circumstances, I don't turn on my phone during training." Yang Yong patted Yang Ming's shoulder and said. Yang Ming nodded silently, a little melancholy. People's lives have a good relationship with other people's lives. But most of the time, whether the relationship was good or not, once they parted ways, they might not see each other again. After the military training, it happened to be a week. This gave the students some time to rest. It wasn't until today that Tian Donghua had the opportunity to invite Yang Ming and Zhang Bin to drink together. Tian Donghua seemed to have a good family background, but the few of them were forthright people. They didn't care about showing off. So they directly found a barbecue stall at the school gate. They asked for some mutton skewers and beer and drank directly. After a few glasses of beer, Zhang Bin began to talk more. Tian Donghua also became enthusiastic. Only Yang Ming was more or less the same as before because he had always been very courageous. Old Tian, which school were you originally from? Asked Zhang Bin. Donghai University. How was it? Tian Donghua smiled. I was admitted with my own ability. Donghai University? Isn't that similar to Songjiang Industry University? How did you transfer here? Right, aren't you from Donghai? Why did you give up the near and seek the far? Asked Zhang Bin strangely. Yang Ming didn't make a sound but quietly waited for Tian Donghua's answer. Tian Donghua definitely didn't transfer just for fun. There must be other stories behind it. Sure enough, Tian Donghua sighed. Don't mention it. Isn't it for a woman? Woman? It can't be. Chasing a woman so far? You're awesome. Zhang Bin gave a thumbs up. Damn, what chasing a woman? Motherfucker, I'm angry when I say it. Tian Donghua scolded. I have a girlfriend at Donghai University, but a lecturer in their department always pestered her. I broke the lecturer's leg in anger. It wasn't a big deal, but the lecturer's family still had some background. In desperation, I could only transfer to Songjiang. Not a big deal. Yang Ming secretly paid attention to Tian Donghua's tone. Breaking a university lecturer's leg was not a big deal? If it was an ordinary student, he would have been expelled already. He still had to transfer out of desperation? If he could transfer out of trouble, how powerful would his family be? Since he had so much power, was there a need to transfer? This kid definitely wasn't telling the truth. What about the woman? Zhang Bin didn't think so much and continued to ask. Isn't this the sad thing? That woman actually said that I was a barbarian. She broke up with me. If I didn't stand up for her, she would have been insulted by the lecturer. Tian Donghua slammed the table and scolded, Don't mention it. It's all tears when I mention it. It's so sad. Yang Ming thought, this is probably the real reason why you transferred, right? However, Yang Ming couldn't get to the root of this personal matter. He could only comfort him, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Songjiang is the source of all the beauties in the country. That's true. I heard that Songjiang has a lot of beauties, so I came here. Tian Donghua nodded. However, Yang Ming's next words were a bit of a blow to this guy. But for a science and engineering college like Songjiang Industry University, there aren't many girls, and there are even fewer beautiful ones. Really? Tian Donghua was stunned and said, I don't believe it. Isn't your girlfriend good enough? This is what I wanted to say. Beauties are basically taken. Yang Ming continued. Damn. At most, I won't look for her in the university, right? Tian Donghua complained, Don't worry. I can't take advantage of my friend's wife. I'm not that ungrateful. The three of them talked and laughed, and the distance was shortened. This barbecue stall was the kind that was popular. Many students from Songjiang Industry University came here to eat barbecue at night. The two guys and one girl near Yang Ming were also students of the university. I heard that something happened to the vice president of the Taekwondo club? One of the guys at the next table asked. Yeah, don't you know? It happened yesterday. Another guy said. What happened? How come I didn't know? The girl asked curiously. It was said that Lu Xiaojun got a room with a girl in a hotel and was arrested for prostitution. Guy B said. Prostitution? What happened? Guy A asked. Even if it was prostitution, the news couldn't have spread so fast, right? Could it be fake? It wasn't prostitution. The girl was a non-mainstream one. She had a one-night stand with Lu Xiaojun. Guy B said vividly. So after the police questioned him, they let Lu Xiaojun out. But when Lu Xiaojun just left the police station, he was stopped by a person who claimed to be the non-mainstream boyfriend. He said that Lu Xiaojun had done his girlfriend and he wanted an explanation. Lu Xiaojun was already angry enough that he was being treated as a prostitute. He didn't expect that someone would dare to come and make trouble for him. He saw that the guy was thin, so he didn't take it seriously. He went up and wanted to push the guy away. As a result, the guy whistled and 7 or 8 punks came from nearby. They went up and beat Lu Xiaojun up. They even broke his face. So serious? But he deserved it. This guy isn't a good person either. Guy A sighed. Lower your voice. Don't let others hear you. Lu Xiaojun has a high position in the Taekwondo club. Don't get into trouble. Guy B advised. Their conversation was heard clearly by Yang Ming and the other two. Tian Donghua was amused. Damn, this kind of person deserves to be unlucky. Zhang Bin didn't think much of it. He followed along with a few words, but Yang Ming was lost in thought. Such a familiar method? Yang Ming didn't believe that there was such a coincidence. He could meet the non-mainstream boyfriend after leaving the police station. Obviously someone had planned this all along. A clear image appeared in Yang Ming's mind. Wang Jitao, this guy is really vengeful. Thinking of this, Yang Ming had to start thinking about how to get rid of Wang Jitao as soon as possible. Otherwise, with such a person by his side, it was no different from a time bomb. Chapter 182. After eating and drinking, Tian Donghua didn't forget to pay the bill. But as soon as he paid the bill, he fainted. Zhang Bin was already unconscious. Luckily, Yang Ming was strong enough to carry them back to the dorm. The guard at the door thought that they were kidnapped. He asked for a long time before letting Yang Ming go. Back in the dorm, Yang Ming didn't care too much. Even if he was strong, he couldn't be so wasteful, right? He threw them on the floor and then went to the bathroom to take a shower. When he came out, Zhang Bin and Tian Donghua were hugging each other. Yang Ming was shocked. Could it be that these two have some bad habits? But he was relieved when he saw that they were both sleeping. Maybe they were just hugging each other out of habit? But it would be interesting if they kissed each other. Back in the room, Yang Ming suddenly saw that there were 4 missed calls on the phone on the table. After checking, 3 of them were from Lan Ling and 1 was from Qin Mengyan. Yang Ming scratched his forehead and remembered that he put the phone on the table to charge before he left for dinner. He didn't bring it out. Yang Ming called Lan Ling first. It wasn't that Yang Ming was biased, but it was because Lan Ling called 3 times. Maybe there was something urgent. Hello? Yang Ming? Lan Ling picked up the phone. Yes, it's me. What's the matter? Asked Yang Ming. And there is something. Just now, Elder Lu Weishan came to our house and gave me an invitation. Tomorrow is his 50th birthday. He asked us to attend. Lan Ling said. Tomorrow? Why did he only inform us now? Yang Ming was stunned. It's so rushed. How can we prepare a gift? Yeah, that's what I asked too. But old man Lu said that he was afraid that we would buy gifts for him, so he purposely told us 1 day in advance. Lan Ling explained. He said that both of us have no income, so there's no need to be so polite. So that's how it is. I understand. Yang Ming didn't think that Elder Lu had forgotten about him. Just as Lan Ling said, the main reason was that he didn't want him to spend money. What time tomorrow? Yang Ming asked. 10 o'clock at the White Swan Hotel, Lan Ling said. Got it. I'll pick you up with Zhang Bin tomorrow. I'll call you when we arrive, Yang Ming instructed. Yes, I understand. Lan Ling replied. Rest early. See you tomorrow, Yang Ming instructed. Yes. I miss you. Lan Ling hung up the phone. Yang Ming then called Qin Mengyan. Yang Ming, where are you? Qin Mengyan asked worriedly. Why didn't you pick up when I called you just now? Didn't I tell you before? I went out to eat with Zhang Bin and another roommate. I didn't bring my phone with me. I only saw that you were calling me when I came back. Yang Ming said embarrassedly. Oh, I was so worried. Qin Mengyan scolded. Don't go out too late next time. Do you know that Lu Xiaojun we met that day was beaten to the point where he was hospitalized? You knew about it too? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. News spread quickly on campus. It seemed that the female dormitory also heard about it. Yes, I just heard it from my roommate. It's good that you're fine. Qin Mengyan said tenderly. Oh yeah, are you free tomorrow? I want to buy some daily necessities. Tomorrow? Yang Ming was in a dilemma. He had to attend Elder Lu Weishan's birthday banquet tomorrow. What's wrong? Do you have something to do tomorrow? Qin Mengyan heard Yang Ming's hesitation. It's like this. Tomorrow is the birthday of one of my elders. I have to attend his birthday banquet. Yang Ming explained. He's also a professor at Songjiang Industry University. Zhang Bin and I met him in Tingcheng. So that's the case. Then, of course, you have to do something serious. Qin Mengyan suddenly changed the topic. Yang Ming, are you lying to me again? Lie to you? What do you mean by lying to you again? When did I lie to you? Yang Ming was shocked, but he asked with a smile. You didn't lie to me in high school. You always used birthday banquet as an excuse to skip class. Qin Mengyan also smiled. There's no class tomorrow. Why would I lie to you? Yang Ming said awkwardly, why don't you go with me? How can I do that? I'm just joking with you. Qin Mengyan quickly refused. I don't know him and he didn't invite me. Why should I go? Hee, why don't I contact you after I'm done with my business tomorrow? Let's go shopping at night. Anyway, the supermarket closes late now. Most of them only close at 8 o'clock. Yang Ming was really afraid that Qin Mengyan would agree to go with him. That would be difficult. But fortunately, Qin Mengyan was a person who understood the big picture. Alright, then let's call again tomorrow. Qin Mengyan didn't care. It was the same when to buy it. She could go back home tomorrow morning. She hadn't gone home for a month. He was a little homesick. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming fell into deep thought. Lu Weishan, although he only met Yang Ming a few times, his position in Yang Ming's heart was very high. If he were to evaluate Lu Weishan as a person, it would be that he was a good person. In the field of identifying jade, he was the one who led Yang Ming into the path. Although until now he had only played the role of giving pointers, but there was a good saying, the teacher can lead the way, but the cultivation depends on the person. A teacher for a day, a father for life. Yang Ming was clear about this principle. It could be said that his current achievements were largely due to Lu Weishan. Yang Ming wasn't an ungrateful person who didn't know how to repay kindness. Moreover, Lu Weishan really treated him well. He was willing to let him live in his house for free. Maybe if it was someone else, Yang Ming would think that he had other motives. But looking at the current situation, Lu Weishan's position was many times higher than Yang Ming. What could he want from a student like Yang Ming? Of course, he didn't know that Yang Ming had that strange ability. Therefore, Yang Ming thought that the old man was a good person. Yang Ming, on the other hand, respected him like an elder. This time it was the old man's birthday. Yang Ming had to express his sincerity no matter what. Money was no longer important to him. As long as he wanted to, he could earn more money. But the same problem was that Lu Weishan didn't lack money. How could he give a gift that could express his sincerity and be creative? Yang Ming was troubled. It was already 10 at night. It was impossible to go out and buy it. Tomorrow morning was more rushed. Obviously, it was impossible to choose carefully. Oh right. Yang Ming suddenly thought of something. If he gave that thing to old man Lu, he would definitely be happy. Thinking of this, Yang Ming immediately made a decision without hesitation. Yes, that gift was the piece of jade that he kept in the bank safe. That piece of jade was worth more than 2 million. If it was made into a handicraft, the price would obviously increase by 5 to 10 times or even more. Yang Ming didn't feel reluctant at all. Yang Ming wasn't a stingy person, but he also didn't like to waste things. He thought that it was worth it. The friendship between him and old man Lu couldn't be measured by value. With the old man's interest, if he gave him a good piece of jade, he would definitely be very happy. After deciding on the gift, Yang Ming let out a sigh of relief. Drunk people woke up early. Zhang Bin and Tian Donghua woke up early, but Yang Ming was still sleeping. However, he was woken up by the sound of 2 people packing up in the shower. Yang Ming looked at the phone beside the bed. It was only 6 in the morning. But there were important things to do today, so Yang Ming didn't sleep too much. He put on his clothes and left the room. Zhang Bin and Tian Donghua were watching TV. Zhang Bin, today is old man Lu Weishan's birthday. Accompany me to his birthday banquet later. Yang Ming said. Me too? Is that okay? Zhang Bin asked. No problem. It's not like you don't know him. Yang Ming nodded indifferently. Okay, when are we leaving? Zhang Bin was also willing to attend Lu Weishan's birthday banquet. This was because when he was at home, Zhang Jiefeng reminded him more than once that if there was a chance, he must have a good relationship with Lu Weishan. This would be good for the family business. Let's leave after breakfast. We have other things to do first. Because Tian Donghua was there, Yang Ming didn't want to talk about the jade. Then I will change my clothes and then we will leave. Old Tian, you should also pack up. Let's go eat breakfast together. Zhang Bin said and went back to his room. Oh, I'm hungry too. Tian Donghua also went back to his room. Chapter 183. After breakfast, Zhang Bin drove his new car with a new license plate and drove Yang Ming to Zhang Jiefeng's company. Zhang Jiefeng had the key to the bank safe. Zhang Jiefeng was quite surprised that Yang Ming wanted to give such a valuable imperial jade to Lu Weishan as a birthday gift. He admired Yang Ming's character. At his age, it was rare that he didn't love money. Actually, it wasn't that Yang Ming didn't love money. Who didn't like money? But compared to friendship, money was nothing. Because of this, Zhang Jiefeng was really happy that Zhang Bin found a friend like Yang Ming. He believed that if his son was in trouble in the future, Yang Ming would definitely help him. Because of the importance of this matter, Zhang Jiefeng had to go to the bank personally. Otherwise, the bank couldn't just give the item to others. Zhang Jiefeng carefully took out the imperial jade from the safe. Then he put it in a beautiful gift box that was prepared in advance. Then he passed it to Yang Ming and reminded Zhang Bing, "You must drive slowly. This thing is very precious. Don't break it from the bumps." Zhang Bin and Yang Ming couldn't help but smile bitterly. Wasn't he being too careful? But Zhang Bin nodded and agreed. Yang Ming gave Lan Ling a call downstairs in the family area of Songjiang Industry University. He asked her to bring the invitation downstairs. Then the three of them went to the White Swan Hotel. At the entrance of the White Swan Hotel, there were all kinds of luxury cars parked. A normal business car like Zhang Bin's was nothing. Zhang Bin parked the car. Yang Ming took the gift into the hotel. At the entrance of the hotel, Lu Weishan's disciple was in charge of receiving the gift and registering it. But because the imperial jade in his hand was too precious, Yang Ming was afraid that something might go wrong. He decided to give the gift to Lu Weishan personally. With the previous lesson, Yang Ming had to be careful. Although Yang Ming didn't believe that Lu Weishan's disciple would go against his conscience and steal the jadeite, he couldn't judge a book by its cover. This was a jadeite that was worth 2 million. It was hard to guarantee that someone wouldn't be tempted. "Please leave the gift with me." A disciple of Lu Weishan called Ho Rui blocked Yang Ming's path and pointed at the gift box in his hand. "No need, I will personally hand it over to Elder Lu." Yang Ming shook his head and said, "Elder Lu is so busy, how could he have the time?" Ho Rui saw that Yang Ming didn't look old and he was wearing a student uniform. He thought that he was Lu Weishan's current student. Naturally, he didn't think that he could give any high-end gift. Seeing that Yang Ming had rejected him, he felt that he had lost face and was somewhat displeased. "It's not a waste of time to send a gift," Yang Ming said indifferently. "Not a waste of time? If you give one, he will give another. The banquet won't need to continue." Ho Rui said coldly, "Hurry up, what's your name? I will register it for you." "Why is he holding the gift in his hand?" Yang Ming pointed at a fat man who just entered and asked. "Him. He is President Yun of Yun's Jewelry. His gift is worth at least 10,000 yuan. Naturally, he has to give it to Elder Lu personally." Ho Rui said disdainfully, "Who do you think you are? Can you be compared to him? My dad is Zhang Jiefeng of Zhang's Jade. I am his son. We are here to represent my dad." Zhang Bin, who didn't interrupt at first, suddenly said. Of course, he had heard of Yun's Jewelry. This was a big jewelry company in the area, but its main business was jadeite products. In terms of business, it was always better than Zhang Jiefeng. When Zhang Bin heard that this guy could enter directly, he naturally wouldn't back down. Zhang's Jade? President Yun also heard Zhang Bin's words. He looked at Zhang Bin mockingly and said, "Ha, you are here to build a relationship with Elder Lu? But Elder Lu's standards are very high. You shouldn't take out an ordinary gift to embarrass yourself. Let's wait and see." Zhang Bin naturally knew what Yang Ming wanted to give. How could Zhang Bin fall behind when it came to making his family proud? Ho Rui was also a person in the jadeite industry. He had heard of Zhang Jiefeng of Zhang's Jade. Although Zhang Jiefeng's company wasn't big, it wasn't something a worker like him could compare to. He snorted and let the three of them in. Yang Ming looked at all this indifferently. He didn't want to be in the limelight. His current identity didn't match this piece of jadeite. Since Zhang Bin said so, Yang Ming saved a lot of effort. At that time, he could just say that he was here to represent Zhang Jiefeng. Yang Ming was very grateful to Zhang Jiefeng for this person. Before Yang Ming made a name for himself, he was just a poor friend of Zhang Bin. At that time, Yang Ming was willing to spend money to invite him to Yunnan and bring him to gamble on jadeite. From this point of view, it was enough for Yang Ming to be grateful. Therefore, Yang Ming instantly thought about the pros and cons of this matter in his mind. He didn't need Lu Weishan for now, but he could use Zhang Jiefeng's business. Since this was the case, why not go with the flow and pretend that the jadeite was sent by Zhang Jiefeng? This could also help him to build a relationship with Elder Lu. He believed that Elder Lu would take care of Zhang Jiefeng for his sake. After making up his mind, Yang Ming decided to embarrass that bullshit President Yun and Ho Rui who looked down on people. Lu Weishan's identity was very famous in the jewelry industry and academia. He had a lot of disciples. But today most of the people who came were those in the jewelry industry. Other than carving jadeite, Lu Weishan's other identity was a famous connoisseur in the jewelry industry. If he told him his birthday in advance, he would definitely prepare a valuable birthday gift. Lu Weishan didn't want Yang Ming to spend money because he felt that he was very congenial with Yang Ming. How should he say it? Felt like he was family. Possible Lu Weishan wanted to be closer to Yang Ming. This was a world of difference from the kind of relationship with others. So Lu Weishan didn't treat Yang Ming as an outsider. He only told Yang Ming his birthday one night in advance. In order to show the value of their gift, every guest who presented their gift would open the gift box in advance. Firstly, it was to let Lu Weishan see their intentions. Secondly, it was to compare with others. So in recent years, Lu Weishan's birthday banquet had become a place for them to compete with each other. Chapter 184. The bosses of these companies were clear about Lu Weishan's hobby. Money didn't mean much to Lu Weishan. Everyone in the industry was clear about Lu Weishan's family's experience. Now the only thing old Lu liked to do was to get himself a piece of good jade. When he was bored he would carve it for himself. And the things that were carved were rarely seen in the market. After the accident in 1999, Lu Weishan never sold his works in public. Therefore the price of Lu Weishan's original works became higher and higher, breaking new records in the auction. Now Lu Weishan only evaluated the value of the jade. The carvings in his hands would no longer appear in the market. Occasionally there would be some that Lu Weishan gave to his friends. However, most of Lu Weishan's friends were also people of high status. Who would sell him? Therefore old Lu's works were priceless. Therefore, every year when it was Lu Weishan's birthday, those who wanted to get benefits from him would find some good jade materials and give them to Lu Weishan as a gift. Of course these things wouldn't be too good. After all, there weren't many good things. These people wanted to sell them to earn money. It depended on who was willing to spend money. But even so, the gifts that were taken out were never less than 10,000 yuan. When Director Yun opened the gift, the atmosphere of the birthday banquet suddenly reached a climax. Director Yun actually gave a piece of jade. Those who were present naturally knew the value of the jade. They all let out a cry of surprise at the same time. Although this piece of jade wasn't big and the quality wasn't very good, it was at least 200,000 to 300,000 yuan. This time Director Yun came prepared. His company had just received a large batch of jade wares. If he could get Lu Weishan's evaluation, then the price would at least double. That was why he hesitated for a long time before he decided to give a big gift that would shock everyone present. Of course, it wasn't only the people present who were surprised. Among them the most surprised was Yang Ming. Ever since Yang Ming obtained his special ability, his eyesight was surprisingly good. When Director Yun took out the jade, he could tell at a glance that this piece of jade was the one he lost in Tingcheng. Things in the world were really coincidental. Yang Ming had almost forgotten about this incident. He didn't expect to see this piece of jade here today. Things were getting more and more chaotic. Originally, when the jade was lost, Yang Ming suspected another person. But now it was related to Director Yun. Who exactly was this Director Yun? Where did this piece of jade come from? If he said that he personally went to Tingcheng to steal it, Yang Ming would not believe it even if he was beaten to death. With this person's status, it was impossible for him to personally do such a thing. But it was also possible that he ordered someone else to do it. Of course, it was also possible that he bought it from someone else. However, Yang Ming wasn't in a position to ask directly. Even if he asked, President Yun might not tell him. Therefore Yang Ming could only secretly remember all of this in his heart. He could only wait for the opportunity to reveal the mystery. Zhang Bin naturally couldn't remember so much, but Lan Ling frowned and whispered to Yang Ming, "That piece of jade seems to be, yes, I know. Let's talk about this later." Yang Ming squeezed Lan Ling's little hand and said, since the list of these people who presented the gifts was set in advance, Yang Ming wasn't considered. After the MC called the last person to come forward to present the gift, the next segment was ready. Yang Ming wasn't a person who liked to show off. Since he wasn't present, it was the same to give it to Lu Weishan after it was over. However, Zhang Bin was an impatient person. When the MC said that the gift presentation was over, he immediately became anxious. Wait. We still have more here. The MC heard Zhang Bin's shout and was stunned. He was the MC, so he couldn't make the decision. As a matter of fact, the people on the list were confirmed one by one. There shouldn't be a mistake. But now, he couldn't help but turn to look at Xiaoqing and Lu Weishan. Xiaoqing naturally heard the shout just now. Following the sound, she saw Yang Ming next to Zhang Bin. At this time, Yang Ming was also looking at her. When he saw her looking over, he smiled and nodded to her. Xiaoqing mistakenly thought that Yang Ming wanted her to agree. She slightly hesitated, walked in front of the MC, took the microphone and said, "Sorry, there is another guest who wants to present a gift. Please welcome Yang Ming." Yang Ming was stunned. It was obviously Zhang Bin who shouted. Why did she ask me to go up? Is there something wrong with this Aunt Zhao's eyes? However, he still walked up the stage with the gift. Yang Ming, what happened to you? Seeing Yang Ming come up the stage, Xiaoqing asked in a low voice. Sister Qing, how did you become Elder Lu's daughter? Yang Ming asked with a bitter smile. We will talk about this later. How did you come here? Are you father's student? Xiaoqing asked. Let's talk about it later. The relationship between Yang Ming and Lu Weishan couldn't be explained in a few words. Xiaoqing thought that Yang Ming was deliberately imitating her words. She snorted and took the gift in Yang Ming's hand. This is my birthday gift to Mr. Lu Weishan on behalf of Zhang Jewelry. Yang Ming naturally didn't forget to speak for Zhang Bin. Xiaoqing was stunned. Zhang Jewelry? Is it the Zhang Jewelry that I went to a few days ago? Don't you want to open it and take a look? Yang Ming saw Xiaoqing's expression and reminded her with a smile. At this time, Lu Weishan also smiled and walked over. Yang Ming, I already said that you don't need to give me a gift. Why are you still so polite? Elder Lu, this is from Zhang Jiefeng of Zhang Jade. Please accept it. Yang Ming smiled. Really? Lu Weishan looked at Yang Ming and asked. Of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to buy anything in such a hurry. Yang Ming said with some embarrassment. It's good. Then you thank him for me. Lu Weishan was also giving face to Yang Ming. That was why he was so polite. Otherwise, if someone wanted to give him a gift, he wouldn't want to accept it. Yang Ming saw that Lu Weishan didn't have the intention to open it on the spot, so he didn't urge him. It was fine as long as the intention was there. Yang Ming didn't think that there was a need to fight with President Yun. However, Yang Ming wanted to let him go, but President Yun was not sensible. He pretended to be curious and shouted loudly, the last gift must be the best, right? There were a few people who were closer to CEO Yun. When they saw the scene at the door, they naturally understood what CEO Yun meant. They all echoed, that's right, that's right. Open it and take a look. Let us all broaden our horizons. Lu Weishan stretched out his hand and said, Yang Ming is a junior who is more compatible with me. This gift is a family gift. I won't show it to others. Lu Weishan was also thinking for Yang Ming. Every year at the banquet, these people were competing with each other. How could he not see it? He knew that Yang Ming was only a student and didn't want to embarrass him. It doesn't matter. Since everyone is so enthusiastic, it's fine to open it and take a look. Yang Ming heard President Yun's words and immediately became angry. Didn't you want to see it? Hey, then let's see it. Hey. Xiaoqing, you help me open it. Lu Weishan smiled. He had made up his mind. No matter how precious the gift was, he would show a very happy expression. Xiaoqing opened the box that Yang Ming handed over. The people who were noisy in the hall immediately quieted down. Those who were waiting to laugh at Yang Ming opened their mouths wide in surprise at this moment. This was a very pure jadeite. It was more than twice the size of the one that President Yun gave. But most importantly, this jadeite's quality was much better than President Yun's. Those who were present were knowledgeable people. With one look, they could determine that the market price of this jadeite was definitely not lower than 2 million. Of course, this was only an estimate. The actual transaction price might be higher. They had heard Yang Ming's words before. Naturally, they thought that this jadeite was given to Lu Weishan by Zhang Jadeite. No one would have thought that this jadeite was actually Yang Ming's. This was also the effect that Yang Ming wanted. After all, his current identity wasn't suitable to be too high profile. It was good to have Zhang Jiefeng as a shield. Even Lu Weishan, who was always smiling, had a very dignified expression. This, Yang Ming, this gift is too precious. Hehe, Elder Lu, today is your happy day. Let's not talk about this. This is also our intention. Yang Ming said and walked down the stage. At this moment, every guest topic began to revolve around Zhang Jadeite. Zhang Jadeite, this second-rate company that wasn't famous in the industry, was instantly familiar. The bosses of foreign companies were all inquiring about Zhang Jadeite from their local companies. What kind of company was this? How could they be so generous? President Yun, who was previously insufferably arrogant, was about to explode. Brother Yun, who are you angry with? A middle-aged man walked over and patted President Yun's shoulder. Chapter 185. Brother Hua? It's you. President Yun turned around. It was his old acquaintance, President Hua of Hua Jewelry. That's right. This person was the old fox that tried to harm Sun Jie with Gu Jianchao. Originally, he wanted to take the opportunity to control Gu Jianchao, but he didn't expect Gu Jianchao to come out halfway and ruin his plan. Also, he didn't know what kind of magic potion Yang Ming gave Gu Jianchao. When President Hua found Gu Jianchao again to discuss how to deal with Sun Jie, this kid shook his head like a rattle drum. President Hua felt weird at that time. Was this kid giving up? Later, from his words, he could see some clues. This guy was quite protective of Yang Ming. When he said bad things about Yang Ming, Gu Jianchao always refuted with a weird expression. This couldn't be blamed on Gu Jianchao. That night gave him too much of a shock. Once he thought about the person called Brother Bao, Gu Jianchao couldn't help but shiver. Especially that poison dragon, Gu Jianchao didn't dare to sit for long periods of time. His ass was even more uncomfortable than having hemorrhoids. And the relationship between Yang Ming and Bao Sanli was obviously very close. Under this situation, even if Gu Jianchao had 100 guts, he wouldn't dare to harass Sun Jie. Not to mention scheming against Yang Ming. He didn't even dare to say bad things about him. Gu Jianchao, who had been living under the sun, finally knew what the underworld was. These guys were really as violent as the movies. Since Gu Jianchao had already lost his value, then his original plan was also ruined. President Hua had to make a new plan. Why? Is it because that kid stole your limelight? President Hua pointed at Yang Ming's direction. That kid? What does it have to do with him? It must be Zhang Jiefeng who ordered it. President Yun scolded. Hehe, that kid isn't simple. I had a meal with him once. He seemed to be Sun Jie's boyfriend. And that's right. It's him. President Hua pretended to remember. Sun Jie. It can't be. I haven't heard of it. President Yun was also one of Sun Jie's pursuers. This guy was an out-and-out old pervert. He was in his 40s and was still unmarried. By the way, who's the woman beside that brat? They're quite close. They probably have an affair, right? President Hua pretended to be casual and said, "Fuck. I have to quickly take a picture with my mobile phone and show it to Sun Jie. Damn this idiot, you are unlucky to have met me." President Yun had nowhere to vent her anger. After listening to President Hua, she immediately hated Yang Ming. Looking at President Yun, who kept taking photos with his phone, President Hua sneered. Yang Ming, since you've ruined my plans, I'll do the same to you. Let's see how you feel. Last time Yang Ming and Sun Jie had a big fight in the bathroom of the KTV. President Hua was well aware of it, so he naturally thought that Yang Ming must be Sun Jie's real boyfriend. Today, when he saw that Yang Ming and Lan Ling were intimate, he decided to set a trap for Yang Ming. That was why he inadvertently leaked the news to President Yun, who was pursuing Sun Jie in vain. Dad, do you think this imperial jade was really sent by Zhang's jade ware? After the guests started to enter the banquet, Xiao Qing voiced out her doubts. What do you mean? Lu Weishan asked curiously. Previously, I went to Zhang's jade ware and wanted to buy a piece of imperial jade for you, but Zhang Jiefeng said that he didn't have any imperial jade. Xiao Qing continued, but now they sent such an imperial jade. What is the meaning of this? Xiao Qing didn't expect the imperial jade to be Yang Ming's. She was just afraid that someone would send such a valuable gift with ulterior motives. Listening to what you said, could it be? Lu Weishan's association noticed Yang Ming's expression just now. Then he nodded with certainty. Yes, it must be his own. Dad, what are you talking about? Xiao Qing didn't understand what Lu Weishan was talking about. This imperial jade is Yang Ming's. Lu Weishan didn't need to hide anything from Xiao Qing, so he told her the truth. Why do you say so? Xiao Qing was puzzled. Yang Ming was just a student. How could he have an imperial jade? What's the relationship between Yang Ming and you? Even if this imperial jade was his, why would he give it to you? This is a long story. So, Lu Weishan told the story of how he met Yang Ming, and the second time he met Yang Ming and rented a house here. Yang Ming is a very sentimental child. I was the one who taught him about jade. This imperial jade was probably obtained when he was gambling in Tingcheng. He knew that I liked this, so he gave it to me as a gift. Then why did he say that it was given by Zhang Jiefeng from Zhang's jade ware? Xiao Qing was still puzzled. I'm not very sure about this, but I guess there are only a few reasons. Lu Weishan said. One is that Zhang Jiefeng had helped Yang Ming before. So, out of gratitude and repayment, he wanted to let Zhang Jiefeng connect with me to help his business. The other is that Yang Ming didn't like to be too ostentatious, so he said that. Of course, it could be that he gave such an expensive gift and was afraid that I wouldn't accept it, so he found an excuse. If that's the case, it is indeed so. Xiao Qing nodded, but she began to think about Yang Ming in her heart. There weren't many people that her father valued. If he could give Yang Ming such a high evaluation, then Yang Ming must have his own strengths. Through the previous few contacts, Xiao Qing's impression of Yang Ming was only that he was very lecherous and loved to be a hero. The rest could be said to be ordinary. Now that she heard from her father that the Yang Ming was a completely different person, she couldn't help but be a little curious. If Yang Ming knew that Xiao Qing thought of him like this, she didn't know what he would think. Although Yang Ming was a bit lecherous, he was definitely not 100% lecherous. He would never do such a dirty thing as lying under a girl's skirt to peek at her underwear. If he wanted to peek, did he need to do that? If he directly used X-ray vision, not to mention the underwear, even the hair inside could be seen. As for the person who loved to be a hero, Yang Ming was really wronged. The last time he helped her to solve the thief, it was because he wanted to protect Chen Mengyan. Otherwise, Yang Ming would be too lazy to meddle in other people's business. But in any case, Xiao Qing's impression of Yang Ming had a fundamental change. Because after the birthday banquet, Lu Weishan still had a lot of follow-up things to deal with. Yang Ming didn't stay for long. He was going to visit Lu Weishan another day. Now Lu Weishan was surrounded by those old bosses who were trying to please him. Yang Ming couldn't go forward. After greeting Xiao Qing, Yang Ming, Lan Ling, and Zhang Bin left the White Swan restaurant first. When they came to the parking lot and got in the car, Zhang Bin just wanted to reverse the car out. An Audi A8 rushed over and stopped behind Zhang Bin's car with a creak sound. 3 men and 2 women came out of the car. At first glance, it was obvious that they were little hooligans dressed in non-mainstream outfits. Hey, you parked your car here. How do we reverse out? Zhang Bin stretched out his head and shouted at the guy who was holding the remote control and locking the car door. The place where his car was parked just happened to suffocate Zhang Bin's car. What did he say? Iron Chain pointed at Zhang Bin and asked the man with earrings next to him. He said that our car is blocking his way. The man with earrings said mockingly. Uncle, are you okay? Iron Chain widened his eyes and dug his ears with his hands as he looked at Zhang Bin and said, Am I blocking your way? I also said that you are blocking my way. Which part of this is yours? Yes, I know. This is called walking the road of others and making others have no way to go. A girl with short hair who looked like a delinquent said sarcastically, Ah, Xiaoyin, you are so talented. The man with earrings praised. Did you hear that, uncle? Next time you go out, you should buy a helicopter. Iron Chain laughed and said, Oh yes, I forgot. You are driving a car that costs 100,000 yuan. You can't afford a helicopter. Are you fucking looking for trouble? It was said that people who drove had bad tempers. Zhang Bin was one of them. Originally, Zhang Bin was a very calm person, but once he sat in the car, his temper became worse. Uncle, you don't understand the situation, right? Do you think you are Bruce Lee or Stallone? The man with earrings kicked Zhang Bin's car and said. Bang, the door of the Pentium was pushed open and Yang Ming jumped out of the car. Originally, seeing that the other party was a child, Yang Ming didn't want to lower himself to their level, but at this moment he couldn't bear it anymore. On the count of 3, hurry up and drive away. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences. Yang Ming looked at the leader of the Iron Chain and said lightly. However, the Iron Chain and the others didn't have the slightest expression of fear. Instead, they were happy. Iron Chain looked at Yang Ming carefully, then lowered his head and took out his phone. He pointed at Yang Ming and said, "It's him." Chapter 186. Yang Ming was stunned. "What do you mean by it's me?" However, iron chain, big earrings and a boy with puffy eyes squeezed past Yang Ming. Yang Ming frowned. He had a rough understanding of the situation. These people didn't park their cars here by accident. They deliberately came to cause trouble. Moreover, the target of the trouble seemed to be me. This could be deduced from the fact that the man with the iron chain had looked at the phone and said those words to him. However, I don't seem to have made any enemies. However, the current situation didn't allow Yang Ming to think so much. These three guys had already surrounded Yang Ming. "Wait, who asked you to come?" Yang Ming decided to ask the behind-the-scenes mastermind first. He didn't think that these people were sent by Wang Jitao. Wang Jitao knew that this trick wouldn't work on him. Ordinary punks wouldn't be able to teach him a lesson. It was even more impossible for Jin Gang. This kid couldn't wait to avoid me. He was afraid that I would ask him for the bicycle again. Therefore, the only enemy I made recently was the vice president of the Taekwondo club, Lu Xiaojun. However, wasn't this guy framed by Wang Jitao? Why did he dare to come out? Moreover, how did he know that I would come to the White Swan restaurant today? Therefore, Yang Ming wasn't very sure that the person who ordered these guys was Lu Xiaojun. "Ha, uncle, you don't even know who you provoked. It seems that you aren't very smart." Big Earrings laughed loudly. "Brothers, don't talk nonsense with him. Let's cripple him first." Iron Chain obviously didn't want to say too much. He pulled out a steering wheel lock from behind and aimed it at Yang Ming. The remaining two punks saw that Iron Chain made a move. They also took out their weapons and wanted to attack Yang Ming. Although Yang Ming was good at fighting, he hadn't reached the level of Jin Gang's unbreakable body. The steering wheel lock was opened by his arm, but it hurt his wrist. That thing was an iron rod. After blocking steering wheel lock's attack, Yang Ming quickly kicked Iron Chain's lower abdomen, causing him to stagger. Because the two of them were quite far apart, Yang Ming did not put all of his strength on Iron Chain's body. Therefore, this attack did not cause any destructive damage to Iron Chain. Yang Ming secretly regretted not making the first move to gain the upper hand. These kids were obviously gangsters in the society. They were the same as him a few years ago. They were all ruthless and were very ruthless. If it was just one of them, Yang Ming would be able to handle it with ease. Even if it was two, it wouldn't be a problem. However, Yang Ming really had to be vigilant against three gangsters who were armed. It was difficult for two fists to fight against four hands, let alone six. Yang Ming dodged an iron bar, but his back was hit by Big Earring's brick and Yang Ming almost fainted. "You motherfucker." It wasn't known when Zhang Bin had gotten out of the car. He took out a big iron wrench used to repair cars from the back and hit Big Earring's stomach. Ugh, cough cough. Big Earrings squatted on the ground while holding his stomach in pain. Yang Ming also took this opportunity to punch Bulging Eye's right eye. This punch used all of Yang Ming's strength. It directly hit him with a black eye, and it was inevitable that Bulging Eye would have a slight concussion. Sure enough, Bulging Eye, who was hit in the head, lay on the ground and vomited. It was obviously caused by a concussion. Only Iron Chain was left, so it was much easier to deal with. When Iron Chain saw that his two companions were beaten to the point where they couldn't take care of themselves, he was a little scared. Looking at Yang Ming and Zhang Bin who were approaching, he shouted, "Don't come over. Do you know who my boss is? Fuck your mother. You dare to mention people? I just asked you who asked you to come, why didn't you say?" Zhang Bin stared and raised the wrench. Don't my boss is Liang Zhang Yuliang. He is very useful in this area. You hit me, my boss will definitely not let you go." Iron Chain shouted. "Zhang Yuliang?" When Yang Ming heard that this guy's boss was Zhang Yuliang, he couldn't help but be stunned. "Did he send you?" "No, yes, he sent me." Iron Chain just wanted to say no, but when he saw Yang Ming's stunned expression, he thought that Yang Ming was stunned by his boss, so he quickly changed his words. "That's not right." Yang Ming was stunned for a while. Could it be that Zhang Yuliang, this kid, took aphrodisiacs and stimulants? He dared to send someone to find trouble with me? I hope that he will leave quickly after hearing the name of his boss. Fuck, if I knew that this kid was so dangerous, I wouldn't have accepted this deal. He better not think that I am lying to him. A strange phenomenon appeared again. The person in front of him didn't speak, but Yang Ming actually heard him speak. Yang Ming once again saw other people's thoughts. But now Yang Ming couldn't help but think about it. Yang Ming said coldly, I hate people who lie to me the most. I will give you 1 minute to call your boss, Zhang Yuliang. He will tell you what kind of person I, Yang Ming, am. My patience is limited. Iron Chain was stunned. He didn't expect Yang Ming to see through his lies. Moreover, he asked me to call my boss, Zhang Yuliang. Seems that his background is very big. Iron Chain hesitated and dialed Zhang Yuliang's cell phone. Liang, I am Ada. Ada? Why are you looking for me? He didn't know if it was because Zhang Yuliang's voice was very loud, or because Iron Chain called Ada's cell phone had a higher power, but Yang Ming could hear everything clearly. Liang Xiaoguang and I were beaten up. Ada said. Fuck, who is so daring? Where are you? Tell me and I will bring people over immediately. Ada gave Zhang Yuliang a lot of money every month. His underlings were in trouble, so Zhang Yuliang was naturally anxious. Liang, he seems to know you. Ada quickly said. Know me? Fuck, he knows me but he doesn't give me face. Did you mention me to him? Zhang Yuliang was angry when he heard it. I did, but it didn't seem to work. Ada said with fear. Fuck, where are you? I will go over. Zhang Yuliang was about to explode. He was a big shot but someone didn't give him face. Wait. Liang, he said his name is Yang Ming. Ada added. What? When Zhang Yuliang heard it, he immediately went silent. His arrogance disappeared in an instant, but he shifted his anger to Ada. Yang Ming? Fuck you brat, don't you have eyes? You even dared to provoke Brother Yang. You deserve to be beaten to death. Fuck, this Ada really knows how to cause trouble for me. Why did he provoke Yang Ming for no reason? He even dared to say my name. Isn't this causing trouble for me? If Yang Ming thought that he was the one who ordered Ada to look for trouble, then he would be done for. No, I have to explain quickly. I can't be careless about this matter. Liang. When Ada heard Zhang Yuliang's tone, his heart immediately turned cold. I'm done for. This person in front of me is obviously more powerful than Liang. What about me? Quickly pass the phone to Brother Yang. I will talk to him. Zhang Yuliang roared. Yang. Brother, Liang is looking for you. Ada's tone towards Yang Ming changed instantly. He passed the phone to Yang Ming in fear. Hello. Yang Ming took the phone and said lightly. Brother Yang, I am Yu Liang. Zhang Yuliang said enthusiastically. Zhang Yuliang, what's going on? Your little brother said that you sent him to cause trouble for me? Yang Ming asked condescendingly. He is bullshitting. Zhang Yuliang was anxious and angry. He said vulgarities. Brother Yang, I am living well. Do I need to seek death? Lan Ling, who was standing at the side, also heard Zhang Yuliang's words. She couldn't help but be amused by him. What are you laughing at, you bitch? The delinquent girl named Xiao Yin stared at Lan Ling and Yang Ming frowned. Lan Ling was his baby. Someone dared to call her a bitch? Yang Ming lifted his leg and wanted to give the delinquent girl a kick. Yang Ming wasn't a gentleman. He was only a gentleman to the women he liked. As for the other women, they could just go away. If someone offended Yang Ming wouldn't bother with them. But if they offended Yang Ming's beloved woman, it didn't matter if they were a man or a woman. Yang Ming would kill them all. This was the reason why Yang Ming found someone to teach Zhou Jiajia a lesson. Now that Xiao Yin dared to scold Lan Ling, she touched Yang Ming's reverse scale. Yang Ming wouldn't be soft-hearted. However, before Yang Ming could make a move, Ada jumped up and slapped Xiao Yin's face. He scolded, Bitch, you dare to scold Sister Yang. You don't want to live anymore, do you? See if I don't kill you tonight. Hurry up and apologize to Brother Yang and Sister Yang. However, Ada's behavior didn't give Yang Ming a good impression. Instead, it made Yang Ming hate him more. He sympathized with the delinquent girl named Xiao Yin. No matter what, Yang Ming felt that he couldn't use his beloved woman to please his enemy. But in this way, Yang Ming didn't want to teach Xiao Yin a lesson. Chapter 187. He glared at Ada with disdain. This guy actually showed a flattering smile. Brother Yang, if you still don't vent your anger, then I'll hand Xiao Yin over to you. You can do whatever you want with her. This girl is really good in bed. Ada, what did you say? How can you do this to me? Xiao Yin suddenly became furious and grabbed Ada's clothes. Ada, say no. Fuck. Bitch, it's your fortune to be able to accompany Brother Yang. Do you really think you're something? Ada pushed Xiao Yin away and said angrily, Motherfucker, if I didn't owe Liang 3,000 yuan for your abortion last time, I wouldn't have accepted this job. This is all because of you. How can you say that? My abortion was all because of you. Xiao Yin glared at Ada. Who knows which man's bastard child is? Ada snorted. Why are you pretending to be pure? You weren't a virgin before you were with me. You still have the face to say that. I'm going to kill you. Xiao Yin's face was distorted as she pounced at Ada. Fuck you. Ada kicked Xiao Yin's stomach and kicked her to the ground. Enough. Yang Ming couldn't watch it anymore. Although Xiao Yin's woman wasn't a good person, Ada was a bit too much. Fuck bitch. Brother Yang is angry and you still want to cause trouble? Ada glared and scolded. A slap landed on Ada's face. The person who slapped was Lan Ling. He's talking about you. How can you treat your girlfriend like this? Auntie Yang is right. Ada instantly showed a smile and nodded and bowed. They were both women. He could hit Xiao Yin, but he didn't dare to show any disrespect to Lan Ling. Nonsense, even the boss, Zhang Yuliang, was so humble. Who am I? Why aren't you thanking Auntie Yang? Ada didn't dare to be too arrogant this time, but he still frowned and said to Xiao Yin. A grateful expression appeared on Xiao Yin's face. At this moment, Lan Ling actually spoke up for her, which made Xiao Yin feel a little ashamed. Alright, I'll give the phone to your little brother and ask him to tell me who's behind this. That way I won't have to waste any more effort. Yang Ming said to Zhang Yuliang, but if he's not eye-catching, I don't mind moving my hands and feet. I'll talk to him, Zhang Yuliang said quickly. Yang Ming returned the phone to Ada. Answer the phone. Liang. Ada picked up the phone nervously. Ada, you fucking don't want to live anymore? How dare you say that I asked you to come here? Zhang Yuliang first scolded Ada right in his face. Ada was depressed. He did not know who was the one who kept asking him to mention him. But Ada didn't dare to say anything. He could only admit his mistake. Liang, I was wrong, and let's talk about this later. You tell Brother Yang who asked you to come. If you lie, then I can't protect you. Alright, you do as you see fit. Zhang Yuliang hung up the phone after he finished speaking. Ada wasn't a loyal person. It could be seen from the fact that he beat up Xiao Yin. So without Zhang Yuliang's order, Ada was ready to tell the whole story to Yang Ming. It was Xiao Guang's little brother who found us. His classmate's brother found him and sent a photo to me using MMS. He asked us to come to the entrance of the White Swan Hotel to teach a person a lesson. It was you, Brother Yang. Let me see the photo. Yang Ming didn't wait for Ada to react. He took the phone and looked at the photo folder inside. Fuck. Yang Ming's pupils contracted. This guy's phone was full of photos of him and Xiao Yin in bed. There were even close-ups of certain parts. Yang Ming frowned. He secretly glanced at Lan Ling and found that she was also looking at the phone in his hand. He quickly scrolled to the back. Finally, after scrolling through many obscene photos, Yang Ming saw his own photo. This photo was taken just now. The location was inside the White Swan Hotel. Fuck, things are getting complicated again. Yang Ming had a headache. Who wants to teach me a lesson? I didn't offend anyone just now, right? If there was anyone to offend, it should be Zhang Bin. But obviously the person behind the scenes was coming for me. What does Xiao Guang's little brother's classmate's brother do? With this relationship, Yang Ming felt a little awkward. Brother Yang, I don't know. We haven't even seen him before. But he promised to give us 3,000 yuan afterwards. Ada said bitterly. Yang Ming nodded. Suddenly his gaze stopped on the Audi A8. This car isn't yours, right? The reason why Yang Ming asked this was because Ada and the others were wearing inferior goods from street stalls. Moreover, they would come over to teach him a lesson for 3,000 yuan. They were definitely not rich people. So these people definitely couldn't afford an Audi A8. Xiao Guang's little brother gave me the key. He was afraid that you would drive away, so he asked us to stop the car and block your car. Just when you were about to leave, we came. Ada explained. Then what are you going to do after this? Yang Ming thought that they would definitely return the car, so he asked. Oh yeah, he told me to drive to the small bourgeois life tea house on Nanjing Road and find a man named Lu Shaoxing. Then I will get the payment and return the car. Ada said. Isn't he afraid that you would steal the car and not return it to him? Yang Ming asked. You know, we are all punks. If we were asked to steal a car, we wouldn't dare. Ada smiled bitterly. This Audi A8 isn't something that ordinary people can drive. Right, I got it. You drive to the small bourgeois life tea house. We will follow you. Yang Ming ordered. Yes, Brother Yang. I will go now. Ada kicked Xiao Guang and Puffy Eyes who were lying on the ground. Don't fucking pretend to be dead. Hurry up and get up and go. At this time Xiao Guang and Puffy Eyes had almost recovered. They also heard the conversation between Yang Ming, Ada and Zhang Yuliang clearly. They didn't dare to say anything and obediently boarded the bus. The Audi A8 left the parking lot slowly. Zhang Bin's Pentium followed behind. The two cars were a little far apart. It was like they were going the same way. No one was suspicious. When the Audi A8 stopped in front of the small bourgeois life tea house, a man in sunglasses walked over and knocked on the driver's door. Mr. Liu? Ada asked tentatively. I am Liu Shaoxing. Did you complete the mission? Liu Shaoxing asked. Yes, I taught those people a lesson. Ada nodded hurriedly. All right, this is your reward. Liu Shaoxing handed over an envelope and said, you can go now. Leave the car keys for me. Liu Shaoxing wanted to open the door, but he felt a strong hand grabbing his hair and pressing him onto the car hood. Mr. Liu, you are very cool. Yang Ming asked faintly. Who are you? Liu Shaoxing's head was pressed down. He couldn't see who was pressing him. He asked in a panic, what do you want? What do I want? Of course, it's revenge. Yang Ming still said humbly, Mr. Liu, have you done anything wrong? You were sent by Hang Zi? Liu Shaoxing asked tentatively. Hang Zi? Who is Hang Zi? Yang Ming was stunned. Seems that this guy has a lot of enemies. You are not from Hang Zi? Then who are you? Who sent you? Liu Shaoxing was stunned. I only had a grudge with Hang Zi. I didn't have a grudge with anyone else. Then who hired someone to deal with me? No one sent me. It's just Mr. Liu. It seems that your memory is not very good. Yang Ming snorted. What do you mean? Liu Shaoxing didn't understand. My name is Yang Ming. Do you remember anything? Yang Ming asked faintly. Yang Ming. Liu Shaoxing was stunned. Why is it you? Fuck your mother, Ada. You guys colluded to trick me. I'm sorry, Mr. Liu. Brother Yang isn't someone I can mess with. Ada said apologetically, your job is not easy. I was almost crippled. Fuck your mother. You are a traitor. Liu Shaoxing scolded, you can still come out like this. You will be hacked to death sooner or later. Sooner or later you will have to pay for what you did. It's just a matter of time. If I didn't do this, I would have died long ago. Ada said without a care. He was telling the truth. If he and Yang Ming continued to be in a deadlock, he would probably be lying in the orthopedic ward of the hospital. Okay, I fell into your hands. You can do whatever you want. Liu Shaoxing snorted and said stubbornly. Say it. How did I offend you? Yang Ming asked. Chapter 188. I just want to teach you a lesson. Don't expect to get anything out of me. Liu Shaoxing said stubbornly. Really? Yang Ming grabbed Liu Shaoxing's hair and lifted him up. Then he slammed him on the car hood. The huge impact made a dent on the car hood. The left side of Liu Shaoxing's head was bleeding from the impact. I just don't like you. I asked someone to teach you a lesson. So what? Kill me if you have the guts. Liu Shaoxing shouted. You don't like me? Did I ever offend you? Yang Ming was baffled. He didn't even know who he was. He didn't even say a word before. How could he not like him? You didn't offend me. But I can tell you. I'm the driver of President Yun of Yun's Jade Ware. I just don't like how arrogant you were when you presented the gift. Liu Shaoxing scolded, you can do whatever you want to me. Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Isn't this the typical case of the eunuch being more anxious than the emperor? President Yun didn't say anything. How could you, a driver, stand up for him? The reason why Yang Ming believed Liu Shaoxing's words was because he didn't have any conflict with President Yun. When he presented the gift, he made it clear that he was representing Zhang's Jade Ware Company. So even if President Yun wasn't happy, the target of his revenge was Zhang Jiefeng and Zhang Bin. What did it have to do with him? After understanding all this, Yang Ming didn't have the interest to teach this guy a lesson. He let go of his hand and kicked him. Then he said, get lost. I don't want to see you again. After that, Yang Ming returned to Zhang Bin's Pentium and said, start the car. Let's go. When Yang Ming left, a middle-aged man sitting in a parked Mercedes-Benz not far away stopped the DV recorder in his hand. He sneered, if Sun Jie knows that you're a barbarian, you're finished. Yang Ming was really depressed. What is this? Small fries, small shrimps. People who had nothing to do with him were coming to find trouble with him. After sending Lan Ling back to the family area of Songjiang Industry University and letting her rest, Yang Ming called Qin Mengyan. Yang Ming, are you done? Qin Mengyan picked up the phone and asked. Yeah, I'm done here. Where are we going to buy things? Yang Ming asked. I'm sorry, Yang Ming. My grandmother came to my house today. I have to accompany her for a while. I'll contact you after she leaves, okay? Qin Mengyan said apologetically. No problem, just give me a call when the time comes. It just so happens that Zhang Bin and I haven't had a good meal yet. Let's find a place to eat something. Yang Ming said. Those who had participated in such large-scale banquets and cocktail parties would know that it was very difficult to fill one's stomach. Going there was nothing more than a scene, a situation, and an exchange of feelings between each other. Zhang Bin also had the same idea. Lan Ling was a girl. She would be full after eating some fruits and snacks, but they were both teenagers who were still growing. Zhang Bin drove to a random shop on the side of the road called A Pot of Tendons and Brains. The two of them ordered a big pot, added some dishes and started to eat. Damn, that Lu Shaoxing is really a scumbag. Zhang Bin scolded as he ate. You still want to say that? I've been implicated by you. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. We agreed that this meal is on you. Who are we? Do we need to be so specific? I'll be the one treating. Zhang Bin smiled slyly. It's funny when I think about it. This guy actually stood up for his boss and found the wrong person to vent his anger on. You can laugh all you want. I'm telling you, you have to be careful these few days. That Lu Shaoxing is obviously a tiger. Maybe he will come to find trouble. Yang Ming glared at Zhang Bin and said. He will come to find trouble with you. Who asked him to suffer a loss under your hands today? Zhang Bin smiled indifferently. Crow's beak. Yang Ming didn't take it seriously. Who would have thought that Zhang Bin's words really became a reality? President Yun's full name was Yun Guangdou. He met Sun Jie at a banquet held by President Hua. He was immediately fascinated by her unique temperament and beauty and swore to marry only Sun Jie. Later, when he learned about Sun Jie's strong background, not only did he not back down, but he also increased his pursuit. He wanted to pursue this little rich woman. However, Sun Jie's attitude towards Yun Guangdou was very indifferent. Other than normal business dealings, there was almost no interaction. The two could only meet at some business cocktail parties. For personal invitations, Sun Jie had never agreed to him. All along, Yun Guangdou thought that his conditions were not bad. He was only in his early 40s and had hundreds of millions of assets. Looking at the entire Songjiang city, there were only a few people who could reach his height. Therefore, Yun Guangdou was still very confident in himself. He thought that the more difficult it was to get a woman, the more passionate she would be once he got her. However, today when he heard President Hua's words that Yang Ming was Sun Jie's boyfriend, this was undoubtedly a bolt from the blue for Yun Guangdou. These days, Yun Guangdou had been fantasizing about the scene of him and Sun Jie together all the time, and this beautiful dream was ruthlessly shattered. Therefore Yun Guangdou was very angry. He immediately instructed his driver Lu Shaoxing to find some people in the underworld to teach Yang Ming a lesson. When he received a call from Lu Shaoxing and was told that the operation had failed, Yun Guangdou was very depressed. Yang Ming, you bastard, a little punk, how can you get Sun Jie's love? Yun Guangdou roared and smashed the phone on the ground. The body and the battery were separated and the whole phone was broken. Especially when Yun Guangdou remembered what President Hua said, Yang Ming and Sun Jie had a fight in the KTV bathroom for half an hour, which made him even more crazy. He had already investigated all the information about Yang Ming. He was just a freshman from a working family. He couldn't see how Yang Ming could attract Sun Jie, but this was the truth. He didn't think that President Hua would joke about this matter, and in fact President Hua didn't lie to him. However, Yang Ming did have a relationship with Sun Jie, but they didn't have any relationship now. Secretary Wang, go and buy me a new phone. Yun Guangdou used the internal phone to connect to his secretary. President Yun, I bought 2 phones last time. I have a new one here. I will send it to you immediately. Secretary Wang knew that Yun Guangdou had the habit of smashing the phone, so she bought 2 last time. Okay, you send it to me immediately. Yun Guangdou hung up the phone. 5 minutes later, a slender and flirtatious female secretary came in and put a new Samsung Count phone on President Yun's table. Then she bent down to pick up the broken phone and take out the SIM card. The female secretary's big but made Yun Guangdo angry. He walked up without saying anything, lifted the female secretary's skirt, and then undid his pants. Wait a minute, President Yun. I will fix your phone, the female secretary said. Don't worry about the phone. You should first serve the cock on my body, Yun Guangdo said with a smile. The female secretary said exaggeratedly, I can't stand it. President Yun, use more strength. You are so flirtatious, Yun Guangdo said with a smile. If only Sun Jie was as flirtatious as you. Half an hour later, the sound of panting and heavy breathing in the office subsided. Yun Guangdo pulled up his pants and took the phone handed to him by the female secretary. Then he waved his hand and signaled her to go out first. The female secretary simply cleaned up the pieces of the phone and the toilet paper that were thrown all over the floor and then left the office. Yun Guangdo turned on the phone and dialed a phone number on the SIM card. Heavenly King covers Earth Tiger. After the phone was connected, the other party directly said an inexplicable sentence. The widow is dead. Yun Guangdo said carefully. Who are you looking for? The other party asked again. Black Widow. Yun Guangdo said. Welcome to the Black Widow Revenge Company. Is there anything you need help with? The other party saw that the code was correct and said with relief. I want to cripple a person. Yun Guangdo said. 150,000 for both hands, 200,000 for both legs, and 300,000 for all 4 limbs. The other party said neatly, this is the basic price. If it is a public figure, the price will be negotiated. If it's not a public figure, it's a college student. Chapter 189. The other party gave Yun Guangdo a website and serial number. He asked him to fill in the information and then transfer the money to the designated account according to the prompt. After hanging up the phone, Yun Guangdo logged into the mysterious website. When he first entered the website, there was still a password prompt box, and the question was still, the pagoda suppresses the river monster. After Yun Guangdo entered the answer, he logged into the website interface. There was detailed information about the target to fill in. Yun Guangdo filled in Yang Ming's information according to the prompt above and uploaded Yang Ming's photo. After filling in the serial number, an online payment interface appeared. Yun Guangdo entered his bank card number and password and clicked confirm. Yun Guangdo was relieved when he saw the prompt that the transfer was successful. After Yang Ming and Zhang Bin finished their meal, they drove directly to Qin Mingyan's house. Anyway, Zhang Bin had nothing to do, so he waited with Yang Ming for a while. Yang Ming, you're really generous. You gave away such a jadeite worth more than 2 million. Don't you feel bad? Zhang Bin was a little speechless. The gift is valuable, but the sentiment is priceless. Yang Ming smiled and said, Old Lu has helped me a lot. It's not a big deal to give him a piece of jadeite. Besides, didn't I give it in the name of your father? Don't take it for granted. Hehe. By the way, I just called my dad. He was so happy. Zhang Bin laughed. The two people chatted casually. Yang Ming received a call from Qin Mingyan, telling him that her grandmother had gone back and that she could come out. She asked where Yang Ming was. Yang Ming told her that he was at the entrance of her neighborhood. Qin Mingyan said that she would come down immediately. Sure enough, within 10 minutes Qin Mingyan trotted out of the neighborhood. When she saw Zhang Bin, she asked, Why is Zhang Bin here too? Isn't it good to have a free driver? Zhang Bin grinned. People dislike you for being a light bulb. Yang Ming said mercilessly. Oh, really? Zhang Bin was a little embarrassed. No, why don't I call Zhao Sisi and let's go together? Qin Mingyan suggested, You live in luxury dorms. You can't imagine how hard it is to live in the girls' dorms. There is nothing, you have to buy it yourself. That's right. Maybe Zhao Sisi is also worried. Zhang Bin nodded. Why don't you make a phone call and ask? Okay. Qin Mingyan, I want to buy some daily necessities or something. I want to buy it to the school. I want to buy it, you're going to buy it too? That's great, let's go together. I'll wait for you at the school gate in 20 minutes. Okay, see you there. Done. After hanging up the phone, Qin Mingyan said proudly. Do you think I'm a martial arts master in the modern world? Yang Ming rolled his eyes. I don't know who helped you settle the few punks who stole your steamed buns. Yeah, I mean what if you meet someone stronger than you? Fong Tian looked up at Yang Ming. You seem to have made a lot of enemies recently. How do you know? Yang Ming was stunned. but those are small fries. I don't believe I'm so unlucky to meet someone stronger than me. Hee. Fong Tian smiled and didn't say anything. Although Fong Tian chose Yang Ming to be his successor, he wasn't in a hurry. There was still a long way to go. Old man, why are you speaking so strangely today? Is your mental illness acting up again? Yang Ming asked curiously. Fong Tian drank a mouthful of wine gloomily. After the meal, Fong Tian sent Yang Ming out. Can you still drive after drinking? I just drank 2 glasses of white wine. It's nothing. Yang Ming's alcohol tolerance was very high. This amount of wine was nothing to him. Then I won't say much. In a few days I'll make pickled vegetables. Come over and I'll make dumplings for you. Fong Tian said. Then I won't be polite. Yang Ming nodded. Yang Ming waved to Fong Tian. He took out the car remote control and was ready to open the door. At this moment Yang Ming suddenly felt something coming from behind like a gust of wind. Yang Ming wanted to turn around to look, but he felt something hit him from behind. It was so painful that Yang Ming almost vomited blood. However, Yang Ming, who was a fighting expert, had encountered situations where he was ambushed on the streets before. Yang Ming subconsciously ran 2 steps forward and quickly turned around to the other side of the Pentium. Yang Ming saw a man in black approaching him quickly. Yang Ming's scalp was numb. Motherfucker, is this a human? How can his speed be so fast? Yang Ming felt a blur in front of him. The man in black jumped onto the hood of the Pentium and extended his leg to kick him. If Yang Ming was very skilled in fighting, then compared to the man in front of him, it was like the difference between a child and an adult. The man in black in front of him could be described as experienced. There was no extra movement. Every move was ruthless. Yang Ming reached out to catch the man in black's right leg, but the man in black suddenly changed his movement and retracted his leg. Taking advantage of the opportunity when Yang Ming leaned forward to catch him, the man in black stretched out his hands and hit the back of Yang Ming's neck. Yang Ming saw the man in black retract his leg and felt that something was wrong. Hearing the sound of the wind caused by the man in black waving his arms, Yang Ming immediately had a cold sweat. If he hit me, I will be disabled even if I don't die. However, it's too late to dodge now. I can't be so unlucky, right? This old man Fong is simply a broken gong with a crow's beak. He really got it right. I just left the house and I met a badass. Lon Ling, Mengyan and Sister Ing. Yang Ming thought of a lot of people in his mind. His parents, his lover. Just as Yang Ming braced himself and was ready to take the hit, the man in black in front of him suddenly stopped his movement. Yang Ming raised his head strangely. He only saw the man in black leaning back slowly and falling heavily on the ground. He only saw Fong Tian reach out and pull out his dagger, then he reached out and searched the black-shirt man's corpse. He found a printed photo, some trivial small objects, and a dagger from the man's pocket. There was nothing in these things that could prove the identity of the person who came. After taking out these things, Fong Tian carefully unscrewed the lid of the small bottle. Then he held the small bottle in one hand and the lid in the other. He gently knocked out some powder from the bottle and sprinkled it on the black-shirt man's exposed skin. Suddenly, yellow bubbles appeared on the black-shirt man's skin, making a hissing sound. The black-shirt man's corpse was rotting and disappearing little by little. After a quarter of an hour, the entire corpse disappeared and turned into a pool of faint yellow-black liquid. Corpse-dissolving powder. A terrifying term flashed in Yang Ming's mind. He originally thought that this was made up in novels and didn't exist in reality. But now Yang Ming saw with his own eyes that a living corpse disappeared just like that. Fong Tian took a shovel from the small shed on the side. He casually used the ashes of the shovel to cover the yellow-black liquid. All traces were covered up by Fong Tian in an orderly manner. All this made Yang Ming stunned. Is this old man Fong Tian? Isn't this a highly calm criminal? After doing all this, Fong Tian put the small bottle back into the box. Then he wiped his hands and sat on a chair. He looked up at Yang Ming. If you have anything to ask, just ask. Yang Ming really had thousands of questions in his heart that he wanted to ask Fong Tian, but he didn't know how to open his mouth. He didn't know where to start asking. Me? What's wrong with me? Yang Ming, kid, don't tell me you don't recognize me, old man Fong? We just had dinner. Fong Tian said with a smile. You just did that, person. Yang Ming was too shocked. He didn't even know how to organize his words. Yes, the shock that Fong Tian gave him today was too big. That person wanted to kill you, or rather cripple you. Fong Tian said very indifferently, then I killed him first. That tone was as casual as killing a chicken. But you... Yang Ming couldn't imagine that Fong Tian, this skinny old man, could hurt someone, and it was a fatal blow. Me? Fong Tian raised his head and looked at a New Year painting on the wall not far away. It was a New Year painting of the South China tiger. Fong Tian pointed at the South China tiger's eyes. Look at his left eye. After that, Fong Tian threw the dagger in his hand out. Dang lang, the dagger stabbed into the New Year painting, right into the South China tiger's left eye. Yang Ming jumped up and quickly walked to the front of the New Year painting. The dagger actually went into the South China tiger's left eye without any mistake. There was not the slightest deviation. How did you do it? Yang Ming looked at Fong Tian in shock. What kind of skill is this? Small flying dagger? Yang Ming was already very shocked at the moment, but what Fong Tian said next shocked him to the extreme. What's this? It's just a small trick. Fong Tian shook his head indifferently. What? This is called a small trick? Yang Ming was shocked. If this is called a small trick, then what is considered as real power? Old man, you have to have a limit to your modesty, right? You think this is already very powerful? Fong Tian said faintly. Also, didn't you think that your martial arts were very powerful? Hee. Old man. What do you mean? Yang Ming was blushing from Fong Tian's words. Is there anyone who insults others like you? Nothing. First, think about who wants to do this to you. Fong Tian handed the printed photo that he found from the black shirt man's body to Yang Ming. Yang Ming picked up the photo and frowned. What is this? This was the photo that he used to fill in his college entrance examination. After that, he used it to apply for his student ID and library ID when he entered the university. So as long as he paid attention, he could get his own photo from some departments. For a moment, Yang Ming couldn't determine where this photo came from. Moreover, this photo was not very similar to Yang Ming himself. It was impossible to connect the two people together at a glance. Many people who had taken a photo should know that this kind of ID photo was very different from the person himself. So obviously this black shirt man didn't meet Yang Ming here by chance. He definitely followed him here and waited for the opportunity to make a move. As for when he was followed, there was no way to know. Thinking of this, Yang Ming frowned. Indeed, he had provoked some people recently, but the hatred between him and these people wasn't to the extent of killing them. The resentment between him and Wang Jitao was at most framing each other. It didn't rise to the point of killing each other. As for Zhang Yuliang, Lu Xiaojun and President Yun's driver Lu Xiaoxing, these were at most small conflicts. Yang Ming really couldn't understand who would want to harm him. If the black shirt man didn't have this photo in his pocket, Yang Ming might think that he found the wrong person or wanted to rob him on the spur of the moment. But now he was sure that this person came with a purpose and the target was him. Very scared, aren't you? Fong Tian said with a smile that was not a smile. The enemy hiding in the dark is the scariest. Of course, this is only for you. What do you mean? Yang Ming listened to Fong Tian's sarcastic words and was a bit annoyed. What do you mean by only for me? Nothing. It means that if it were me, I wouldn't be scared. Fong Tian shook his head and said indifferently. Yang Ming narrowed his eyes and looked at Fong Tian carefully. Well, since you are so powerful, why were you framed and caught in the detention center? Because the detention center is the safest place. Fong Tian said without saying anything.